Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, I give you BVO.
Oh, we boxing? Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weeping and blocking, defeat ain't an option. Let them know, shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know, every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know, I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show, this is BVO.
On behalf of BVO Sports TV, we would like to thank our sponsor, Raycon, makers of the Raycon Everyday Earbuds, the perfect model for premium sound with active noise cancellation to block out distractions and transparency mode to keep you aware of your surroundings. They are the ideal for your everyday needs. Just visit RayconGlobal.com. That's RayconGlobal.com and elevate your listening experience.
What's up, guys? Chris Algieri here. Big shout out to BVO Sports TV.
Shout out to BVO Sports TV. Make sure you tune in right away. Hottest in the city, hottest in the U.S.
Shout out to BVO Boxing. You understand? Check the boy out. Check the kid out. You understand?
Yo, what's up? It's your boy BVO Sports TV. We back. And we got a huge subject. We talking about false prophets in the sport of boxing. What's going on, Puerto Rican Free? How you feeling, man?
I'm cool. What's going on with you?
So we got a big show. Hold on, get this music right. So we got a big show today. We talking about a lot of the false narrative that we hear in boxing. And I want to ask you this, man. Do you think boxing suffers from having bad messaging, or you think that's just kind of how it is?
You said from bad what?
From bad messaging, like people just making things up and don't really know what they're talking about. What do you think?
I think that I would say people making things up for the most part. I mean, you do have people pushing narrative, but I think it's people not gathering all of the facts and all of the story before they put it out there. I think so many people is quick to be the first one to put it out that they don't gather all of the facts and all of the story before they put it out. They want to hurry up and rush the story out. I think that's mainly what boxing suffer from, because you have so many people want to be the first one to put it out instead of getting everything correct when they put it out the first time. A lot of people have to go back and either recant what they said or take down or come back and do another video based off of what the rest of the facts are and what the rest of the truth are. I think that's more so what I think boxers suffer from. Too many people want to be first instead of being correct.
So when you see the sport of boxing and you see so much, like, I would just say flat out lies, does it surprise you that boxers don't want to be involved with the YouTube media because of it?
No, because it doesn't surprise me, because there's a lot of people on YouTube that push narrative, and a lot of people on YouTube, they so big on one fighter or another fighter that it kind of pushed boxers away from them, because they're like, oh dang, well, he a fan of him, and I heard him say this about me, I heard him say that about me. That they don't want to do interviews, they don't want to come on YouTube with some of these platforms, because so many people talk bad about these boxers. I mean, everybody state that they're a boxer fan, and everybody state that they love the sport of boxing, but they so quick to put down these fighters that they forget that these fighters listen to YouTube as well.
Yeah, and the reason I say that, man, is that sometimes you get a lot of like goofy stuff, especially when you talk about the sport of boxing. Like you get people who just like say stuff that they don't even know to be true, and you be thinking to myself like, what is going on? Like, where is that coming from? Because I'm telling you, man, I think that's what's kind of ripping the sport apart in a lot of ways because people don't know what's true or what's false.
Right, right. What's going on, Vacay? What's going on, Angie?
Because I was reading an article and they were just talking about the future of boxing, and I think one of the things that worries me is that the way it's going, I don't think a lot of the younger fighters will trust us as media to talk to us because of some of the stuff that you see.
Right, right. I mean, like I said, I mean, if you love the sport and you're a fan of the sport, the thing that you want to do is build up the sport. You don't want to tear down the sport by putting down every fighter that your favorite fighter is going against. That was one thing that Floyd never allowed the media to do. And that's the one thing that I do give Floyd credit for. He never allowed media to put down his opponent. He made everybody seem like he truly believed it or not. He didn't want you saying that was a bad opponent because he wants to get the full credit for everybody that he beat. And that's what a lot of these new boxers nowadays they're quick to put their opponent down, but they want full credit for beating them. Well, how are we gonna give you full credit for beating them if you put them down the entire time you was training to get ready to fight them? You said this person was bad at this person couldn't do this person couldn't do that. Well, based off of what you say, you were supposed to beat him. It wasn't supposed to be a hard fight for you. So how can I give you full credit with somebody that you were supposed to beat? I give you, I mean, yeah, you get the benefit of beating them, but you don't get the full credit of beating a person that was nowhere near your level, according to what you say. These guys were nowhere near your level, so how can you get full credit for that? And that's one thing that I've always gave Floyd Mayweather credit for. He never let the media. He always said these opponents was great. This is a great fighter. This guy is very tough. This man, his record is this. He fought this person. He fought that person. He always gave full credit to his opponent so he can get full credit after he go in there and win his matchup.
Yeah, salute to my brother Boxer Sword. Salute, man. How you feeling, brother?
Hey, you know what? My thing is this. You see, you got to give him credit. You know, he's a hell of a fighter. No, my bad, man.
I love when Floyd do that. Hell of a fighter. He always do that. And let me ask you this, Boxer Swords, because we see Floyd's handprints all over boxing. I don't know if you remember when Adrian Broner was stutter like Floyd. We even see, I would say Devin do a lot of that. Trying to say old Floyd clips and stuff like that. But what do you think about, there being so many false prophets in boxing where you got guys like me and you who go to fights and put that time in and, miss time with loved ones at times so we can, cover the sport that we love. And then you got people who just really spin narratives and a lot of the people. What do you think about that, man?
I just joined in when you were just starting about, talking about how like some fighters may have to, do things on their own as far as like PR and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But at the same token, like B Free was saying, as far as like some of today's fighters bashing other fighters or bashing their opponents, saying that, oh, they're trash and they're this and they're that, and not, giving proper respect to the fighter that they're going to be stepping in the ring with. That isn't necessarily, a good thing of sorts when you're trying to get people to be interested in seeing you fight. You're not, to the level of, like, as they say in the past, like a Mike Tyson or an Oscar De La Hoya or a Sugar Ray Leonard or Floyd Mayweather or like a Canelo Alvarez or something like that. You don't, like, not every one of these fighters has that ability to have a number of people show up to the fights no matter who the opponent is, right? So they gotta, find out a way to, build themselves up. And the best way to do that is to respect the fighter that you're stepping in the ring against.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is like you got people, we know that, the King of Cleveland, Abdullah Mason's getting ready to fight Sam Knowles for a world title and you got a bunch of goofballs who don't watch boxing in depth, as I would say, who say that Sam Noakes sucks. The fact that Sam Noakes been beating everybody dead in the UK seems to have missed them. What do you think about when people do that to Abdullah Mason?
I mean, I don't know like where that comes from as far as like, is it that they're having Abdullah Mason at such high regard, or they just don't know much at all about Sam Noakes, right?
Right.
Like when I first heard about this particular fight, like some folks that had been doing things in the UK had said like, nah, they gotta watch out. Like Abdullah Mason has to watch out because Sam Noakes could really really get him, and so that kind of like goes to what they've been able to see there as far as like Sam Noakes. But at the end of the day, if you see someone that has been like a prospect of the year in Abdullah Mason that's been able to rise to the level of being a top contender in the lightweight division so fast, then you're gonna have all of those expectations. And the thing is, it's like I guess people overlook what happened as far as like that little minor setback that Abdullah Mason had last year against Johan Vasquez in Norfolk. So you gotta take all of that into account when you have this upcoming bout on November 22nd between Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes, because that is supposed to be like one of those fights where you're gonna get two young fighters that are gonna be able to compete, and this time it's going to be for the vacant WBO lightweight title.
And see, the thing that kind of gets me is you'll hear people go on like tirades and tell their opponent how sorry this dude is. Like I heard somebody say Brian Norman Jr. is not good. It's like, if Brian Norman Jr. is not good, as to speak of what Angie Baby said, what does that say about Devin Haney? That don't give Debo Dev no credit if you say something as stupid as, oh, he ain't fought nobody, he's nobody. Like I guess I'm just wondering like where it came to where fans have the right to like just denigrate fighters, because I'm telling you, that's why the sport isn't growing in the way it should, because everybody wants to kill everybody's resume. And it's like, I thought a lot of the guys Shakur fought, they wasn't the biggest names. I thought he was matched very well. I thought he was. But when I look at a guy like Tank, I could say Tank had some tough fights that he probably could have lost. And I just don't understand like why people go out of their way to like cut down fighters, or we see it all the time. People make videos and just make these crazy like things about fighters as if like the fighters don't hear that. And it's like, prime example, if you see a guy like Brian Norman, if he go in there and stop Devin Haney, then what does that say about Devin Haney? This is my brother Mike Graham. Crazy, right? Like, what does that say about Devin Haney if he get beat dead, if he get beat to death? I just don't get it.
It's almost like an extreme on both sides, particularly with that matchup. And that's supposed to be the most intriguing matchup of that entire card.
For sure.
Because you're going to have Devin Haney, attempting to be a world champion in his third weight class against Brian Norman, who's, the WBO champion there in the welterweight division. And so, I think, undefeated versus undefeated too. So just build off of that instead of, trying to downgrade, each fighter or try to over exaggerate, what has happened in the past with some of these fighters. Like, we know this happened with Brian Norman or this happened with Devin Haney, but that doesn't, take away from the fact that this is an intriguing matchup between two, young fighters that are pretty much around their primes.
Yeah, because I think this fight really, in my opinion, people don't realize this, but I would say this is a crossroads fight for Dev. What would you say?
I could agree with that. Because, of how much he was affected after, as they say at the time, the loss to Ryan Garcia.
Right.
Because his value as far as like a fighter and an attraction went down after that particular result at the time happened. So with that being said, that kind of like said, okay, yeah, you didn't get it done at the time against Ryan Garcia. Yeah, you're able to keep the the title at the time as far as like that 140 title, but then when it came to a purse bid for him and his mandatory challenger, the winning bid, he would only get paid like $1.2 million in comparison to like when he usually gets like $3 million a fight. So that tells you like how much is on the line with someone like Devin Haney in this bout against Brian Norman Jr. Because if he loses, like a whole lot of that value goes out the window.
And I say that too, because when you talk about Debo Dev, I think the thing that people don't understand is that the way he lost to Ryan Garcia, yes, it was eradicated, but I don't think people understand. There is some kind of like shrapnel left over from when you go through something like that. To think about, when I heard Devin, he had a really good thing. He was on an interview with Israel. He told Israel, he said, "Man, I'm not having sex. I'm eating a strict diet. And for me to get, basically in so many words, beat to death, I was wondering what's going on." And he said he was relieved when he found out that Ryan was on drugs. What do you think he meant by saying he was relieved when he found that Ryan was on drugs? What do you think?
Oh, see that's the thing about it with that particular fight, because you seen like how it was the reaction after the loss by decision. Like in some instances it was like they were saying like, no, we didn't really lose, or we kind of like saying it happened but it didn't really happen or something like that. But it wasn't to the point of where like, okay, yeah, you had this fight. Yeah, you were able to get the decision win. Let's run it back. I compare that to, like, I brought up the comparison of, with everything that, may have happened or whatever happened between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder in February of 2020. Deontay Wilder wanted that get back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So the thing about it is like, there's one, especially with a fighter that suffers his first loss. And some fighters can have that level of invincibility. So when they do run into that instance of losing, there's like one way to go at it, and there could be another way to go at it. And like some with like the Deontay Wilder, he's like, nah, you had to do this, you did that, or I want that get back. You're not gonna fight anybody else until you fight me again in a rematch. That's how Deontay Wilder approached it. With Devin Haney, it was like, did I really lose, or do I really want that get back? Not really. And then when the whole thing happened with the drugs, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. See, you had to do something, but then it was like he didn't want to have a rematch with Ryan Garcia, or he didn't want to, I guess, have something where he could be in a high-profile bout at the time. But now he gets that opportunity against Brian Norman Jr.
And the reason I bring that up, I would only push back on this. One thing I do remember about that fight, Dev was in there. He was in there beat to death. And we seen him face puffed up like he had just had an allergic reaction. He said in the ring, I think he should give me a rematch because I gave him an opportunity. He should, be gracious and give me the opportunity. And I want to ask you this, and this is from somebody like, because I really respect what you do, brother. A guy like you who's been in this sport as long as you have you ever seen a guy who says and does a lot of the right things be so hated in such a visceral manner? Have you ever seen that?
Not necessarily, but it's a sign of the times, though. In that we're in the internet age, we're in the instant gratification or instant criticism age. So it's like you could, be the poster boy for a few things here and there, and still, get a lot of hatred or whatever it is, or get a lot of criticism. So it's like, but at the same token, depending on who you are, you could be that clean cut person and get a lot of hate, but there could be other clean cut people that'll get all the praise, and that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, because I just wonder to myself, does dignity not sell with black fighters? Because we seen the same thing, and I hate the guy. Not, I ain't gonna say I hate him, because I don't want to run into him. He think I'm serious. One of the guys I didn't like to watch fight, but I love as a person and love to see, and he's become a legend in media now. It's SOG Ward. I feel like guys who have integrity seem to never be the stars that they can be, because people enjoy. I don't want to say the foolishness. I'll just say the niggatry. People like the niggatry. They want to see you, show your tail and see you act a fool. Do you think that's what's going on with Dev? Because he's not necessarily giving you all the. Really, it's just Billy giving you all those antics. Do you think it's because Dev don't give you that?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, you had guys like a Sugar Shane Mosley, like a Andre Ward, that pretty much, did everything the right way. And they don't necessarily, get the praise as you said, but someone like a Miguel Angel Cotto, or say like someone from today, like an Isak Cruz, get a lot of praise, get a lot of backing from the people within their country or their area. And that's why I kind of like hinted at the whole thing as far as like it's crazy that they could be able to do that, but we're not able to do that. Yeah,
it's a good point.
And I mean, hey, you talked about it earlier here with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was, the pretty boy and everything like that. But in order for him to be a superstar, he had to be Money Mayweather. He had to, go into, Dancing with the Stars is one thing, but the other thing is, doing what he did there with the, whole WWE stuff and all of that too. So
when you slapped Big Show, that was so class.
And approaching that whole De La Hoya fight the way that he did, then that's kind of like how he became the superstar.
So one of the people on the panel, my brother Prize, is probably one of the most racist fans you'll ever meet.
That's crazy.
He only likes black fighters. What do you think about those guys who are just race fans? In your opinion?
I'm not. Wait, hold on. Don't do that to Boxing Source. I'm not a race fan. I just happen to root for the American fighter. They just happen to be black.
Hold on, man. You're this guy, man.
You out of order. That's what happens. That's what happened. When you root for Americans, it's a problem. But everybody else can root for their people. But when I do it, I get.
This is a sick Negro.
I was about to say he was about to label you Khalid Muhammad, man.
Man.
He's a real Ernie Terrell type of guy.
I don't even know who that is.
He would never call Muhammad his name. He would call him Cassius Clay. That's kind of
cap.
guy he is.
That's super cap.
What would you say? What would you say about those race fans, though, in your opinion?
Oh man, come on, man. Don't have it be embarrassed like Cleveland Williams out here, man. Come on.
Hey, and the reason I say that, and this is why I say that, and I'm not speaking of Prize just directly. He's not the only race fan. He's a popular race fan, but he's not the only one.
Wow.
Because we seen Bomac go on a big podcast and say, "Why do you hate Terrence Crawford?" to one of the guys. And I'm just wondering, so is it the such thing that if you don't root for people's interests, does that mean you off code? Have you ever been accused of that, Boxing Source?
I'm thinking if I have or not, but I know that there's been instances of that happening. But the problem is like, if you like for example, right? If you assess a fight, as me being in the media, if you assess a fight and you see that a fighter might be the better fighter in that case, and you pick them, then yeah, you're gonna have fans kind of like accuse you of this and that or whatever. But we're analyzing the fight. We're seeing what the strengths and weaknesses are for each fighter, and if we choose that this is a fighter that we favor, then that's that. That's how it's always been. So it's not like, you know, we can approach it as a fan. We have to approach it as an analyst, because you don't see that for like say for example, maybe another individual sport like tennis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see it in that way. You might not see it like, I don't know, wrestling or whatever it is, but for some reason these days in boxing, if you kind of like pick a fighter against a certain fighter, then they accuse you of hating and being a traitor and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, and I guess for me, I be shocked when you hear that, like that when people call you a traitor, and it's like
that's crazy.
I remember when people were going for the Crusher Kovalev to beat Andre Ward. Now, we didn't know that he was, you know, had so many issues, and he was just a very diabolical person. But I guess I don't get this whole new image of if you don't go for this fighter, it means that you're like off code. You know what I mean? I guess I just don't get that whole thing, because at the end of the day, we don't even know a lot of these guys. Like me and you might get a chance to know some of these guys, but when I told people that, I'll give you a prime example. When I told people, you know, I'm a big Teofimo Lopez fan. I told people that I asked Tio about what he said, and Tio said he made a mistake. And I actually had people vilify me for saying that I should have pressed him. And it's like, why would I press somebody who's being soft-spoken and told me that they messed up? What do you say to stuff, criticism like that?
I don't see anything different to that than what who is it? Like someone else did the same thing to Tio. I think it was like after the press conference that they had.
Najee from Najee.
Yeah, Najee did. Yep. So it's like, if you know that he did something, if you feel like he did out of the line, you could approach him about it. You know what I'm saying? So, and if he responds and gives you a response, then you gotta, you know, take that for what it is. What you can't do is you can't like press him like that. That's not gonna work in any shape, form, or fashion. You know, for me, I just, you know, step back, you know, hold it back and all that type of stuff. But you know, this is like the same Teofimo Lopez that I've seen on multiple occasions chop it up with Jaleel Hackett. You know,
right? That's his man. We know that.
So there you go.
You know, one of the things I'll never forget when we was at the fight. I don't know if he's seen it, but Richard Hitchens Africa came up and said something to Tio, and Jaleel went up and told him, "Sit your ass down. He working. Talk to him later." And he went over there and set his ass down. Like when I seen that said a lot. What did you think about when you see something like that?
Oh, I mean, I miss all that. Man, I miss all.
No, you wasn't down. You wasn't down there yet. You wasn't down there by us yet. You wasn't down there yet when he did that.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But I mean, it's kind of, you know, funny with that situation with Teofimo and Richard Hitchens. You know, given that they both had the same manager.
Correct.
And they're, you know, unified. Well, they're both world champions, but that kind of like stems from right after Richard Hitchens' fight against George Kambosos. Like, have Teofimo step in the ring, but they ain't saying anything about, you know, making a fight. So, I don't, you know what to make of what Richard Hitchens is doing at this point. But the thing with Jaleel Hackett, though, that was, you know, kind of funny right there. I still have like some stuff that I haven't even posted yet from, you know, being down there.
Yeah, I got an interview with Franchon Cruz. I'm gonna post up, and I say that because, like, one thing I'm finding out from getting a chance to be blessed to go to some of these fights is that it's not like you think it is. It's really not. Like, it's not. There is no real animosity between the fighters. They're pretty much cool with each other. I mean, I think it's more animosity with us as the fans than it is the fighters. You know what I mean? Because go ahead.
Because it's like I'll go back
to my brother CDK back from the dead. My bad. I see my dog. He ain't seen him in a while. Shoot to my brother CDK.
We'll go back to the biggest event of 2023. Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Fan bases really went back and forth with each other. But I mean, Spencer and Crawford basically been, kind of like cool with each other for, a while. It's just that, they kind of like made it to where it would be like a big rivalry. But they knew, like, once they, were going to fight, that it was going to be, the most lucrative that they could possibly make it at the time. And that's what they wanted to have happen. But as they say, sometimes the fans will take it to another level.
Yeah, I say this, and I'm gonna let one of my brothers. This is one of the craziest dudes in YouTube history. I'm gonna let him come up, ask you a few questions, man. This dude's a nut, but give him a little grace. He a youngster coming up. But let me ask you this: when you see a guy like Emiliano Vargas, who looks like Oscar, fights like Floyd, do you think that's $100 million fighter one day?
And it depends, how he's being built, how he's being guided. What do we have? What was it? Fernando Jr. that had, the fight on Riyadh season. Like they tried to, push him too fast, and we saw what happened. So with Emiliano, I guess they're gonna have to, scale it back a little bit, take it easy, and then just see when it'll be the right time for him to, do what he has to do.
Yeah, and I say that because I know that he wants to fight Gary Antoine. And do you think he's ready for Gary Antoine? Because I think he can stop him. Not now, but I think one day he'd be able to stop a guy like Gary Antoine. What do you think?
No,
I'm talking about Emiliano Vargas.
Yeah, Emiliano Vargas stopping someone like Gary Antoine? No.
Not now. No, not now.
Not now.
In the future.
Not in the future either.
Tooth Uncle Cash.
Not in the future either. I'm sorry, but I don't see it. It's like too many. Like he's too young right now at this point, and even in a few years, like once Gary Antoine gets into more of his own, whether it's going to be at 140 or 147 right now, I don't see the where Emiliano will pose an issue to like a Gary Antoine Russell.
See, the thing that get me with it is that I heard Gary Antoine in a recent interview say he can go down to 35 if need be. So I'm thinking he must be smaller than we think. So that means a monster like Emiliano Vargas might have it. Not now. I want to clarify this because I don't want nobody sending me no nasty texts. Not now, but in the future, can he beat a guy like Gary Antoine? So to my brother, Coach Eddie, man. Love, my guy.
Man, I gotta see.
You was there. You see. Hold on. No, you weren't at that. You weren't at that one.
Yeah.
You were there.
Well,
you were there. You seen him punch that dude dead. You see. Yeah, the whole everybody missed. I'm gonna get some popcorn. The dude was on there sleep.
Yep. Yeah, I missed that. So I didn't see it. I didn't see his knockout of Alexander Espinoza, man. But they got him. I guess they're gonna try to get him in the rankings here pretty soon. But we'll see. He got something scheduled in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
in Mexico. So after that. Once we get more information about Top Rank and what they're going to be doing, then we'll probably see more from Emiliano Vargas.
Go ahead and say, I know you got a question for Boxing Source. Go ahead, my brother.
What's going on there, everybody on the panel? My annoying annoying little brother, BVO Prize. How you doing, big dog? What up, homie? I'm good, man. I'm just hanging in there, man. I just had a couple of questions because I overheard you guys say something about Devin Haney. And you pretty much was like, I'm not saying your words verbatim, but if he couldn't get over the Brian Garcia beating, as you say, like, I don't understand, like, what makes people believe this, that you can't get beat up and come back and whoop 20 other dudes. Like, niggas get beat up in real life. Like, you know that, right? Like, dudes get whooped. I'm talking about whooped. Come back, whoop another dude, whoop another dude, whoop another dude. Go back, whoop the dude that whooped him. So when you say that, I need to understand, like, where is that coming from, and where, like where's your mind at by thinking that?
Hold on, like, could you clarify that a little bit more? Because remember,
I'll break it down a little bit further.
in reference to this. So go ahead.
Okay. So my reference was I heard you guys speaking earlier, right? And I heard you say, well, maybe Devin Haney is still going through, I'm gonna use my own words by this PTSD from what went on in the Ryan fight, or maybe can he get over what happened in the Ryan fight? Because what you're doing, what you guys are actually doing is putting a low level fighter against a high level fighter within Brian Norman and Devin Haney. So my thing is, where do we get just a human that's everybody done been in the street before, everybody done had street fights before, everybody done been whooped before, because we can't whoop everybody. But after you took that whooping, what did you do after, and why Devin Haney couldn't move on from that when he found out, or before he found out that Ryan was on steroids?
That was the thing. It was that the way that he reacted after that particular decision was laid down on April of that year when Ryan Garcia got the decision win, right? That there's ways that you could react to a first loss in your professional career, and that's why I brought up Deontay Wilder when he lost to Tyson Fury in 2020, and how he reacted to like Devin Haney, and how he kind of like reacted after his decision loss to Ryan Garcia. The thing is like sometimes, as BVO was talking about with some of the fighters, like they have a little bit of an issue losing their O, so to speak, right? And because that either they don't want to take as many risks, or they want to kind of like maneuver things a certain way. And so with Devin Haney didn't necessarily do that. He hasn't done that, especially during the lightweight division. He was there chasing Vasily Lomachenko, for some time. Didn't necessarily get it when he initially wanted it, but still ended up getting it, right? So he did that, went up to 140, got the WBC belt, and was pretty much riding high. So you're going into a high-profile fight against Ryan Garcia, and you're like, hey, okay, I get this against a high-profile guy, popular guy, Ryan Garcia. I can get this win. I can move forward and continue with my career. But it didn't necessarily happen like that. And when it ends up being the way that it is, then you could react a certain way. So that's why I was bringing it up as far as like how he was looking immediately after the fight, and then it took some time for him to eventually find out that Ryan Garcia got caught. But even after that, his overall value went down. So that's why in this bout against Brian Norman Jr., BVO said that, hey, there's a lot on the line for Devin Haney, because if he ends up losing this, then where does he go from here?
Okay, can I jump in here for a second? All right, let me jump in just for a quick second. See, I heard you say the false truth, and a guy like BVO had to correct you, and it's bad when BVO correcting you. So you said that Devin Haney didn't look like said that he wanted a rematch, and BVO had to say, yeah, he wanted a rematch immediately after the fight. So the thing is, what we forget is, after Ryan got beat by Rolly, there was a fight on the table with him and Devin Haney that Ryan Garcia turned down. He turned it down. He turned that big money down. So the backup plan was whoever was on that list, and it ended up being Brian Norman Jr. So as far as where does Devin Haney go, Devin Haney has a name to last in the game. Devin Haney has done more than a lot of these dudes done. A lot of your favorite fighters has done. Devin Haney is a former undisputed champion. Devin Haney has a name. The name Devin Haney is. I didn't. Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait.
What did you say about Devin Haney for this year?
You say it one more time, sir.
What did you say for Devin Haney this year? Because some of the stuff that you're saying is like a lot of us already know about Devin Haney. This is what we mentioned in reference to him.
The way you were talking, it made me feel like you didn't know it, so I had to, re-elaborate that. So my thing is this. Now, Devin Haney has a name that holds weight. So even if, per se, does Devin Haney loses, right? Devin Haney got a fight already lined up in February or January. Devin Haney can go anywhere he wants from here because Devin Haney's name is big. He has a name. Now, for Mr. Brian Norman Jr., my young black brother, who I'm a go for after this fight, you know what I'm saying? Where is he going to go after this? Is Top Rank going to put him on the shelf, or is they going to put him on Facebook Live? Where does he go after this? Those are the questions we need to ask.
Okay.
Well, Boxing Source, before you answer that, I just want to say this. I want to say this. I know my brother is saying it intense. I love it. I'll just say this.
I'm being respectful, BVO.
I'm not saying you're not, but hold on. Let me say this. I think when we talk about fighters, I'll be honest, and D Free told me this some years ago. I want to be a little more respectful and say I'm not gonna say a guy who became a champion in one of the glamour divisions of the 16 weight classes. I'm never gonna say he's a nobody, never ever, because one of my favorite trainers of all time, Floyd Mayweather Jr., was never a champion, but his little brother Roger was a 2-time champion. So to become a champion in one of the 16 weight divisions is a huge accomplishment, and I don't want to ever take anything away. And I'm not going to take nothing away from Brian, because if Devin's able to win, it'll make the win not as great. So that's the whole point of what we're saying. But go ahead.
BVO, you mean Brian? You mean Floyd Mayweather Senior? That's what you meant when you said that.
That's what I said. Senior.
You said, yeah, okay. But the thing is, oh my bad. I'm sorry, sir. It was on you. My fault. I apologize. That's on me.
No, you were talking about with Devin Haney reference to this year. Like after he had his fight against Jose Carlos Ramirez in May. Yeah, they were working on having him fight Teofimo Lopez. But yeah, thanks to, as I say, the turn down king, that didn't necessarily happen.
I like that.
Hey, Buzzing Swords. Hey, you can't tell no half truths, man. Come on, we're talking about almost champion.
He told a 100% truth there. He actually
shout out to brother Curtis Robinson.
So that's why Devin Haney had the option and said, hey, okay, if this is available, then let's go for it. Why not go after a guy in Brian Norman Jr. that Teofimo Lopez turned down too?
No, there you go.
That's something I didn't know.
I would love to rematch. I gave him a shot. It's only right he give me a shot back.
So that's the thing there with
please.
You know what I mean? So we got to see like how he's going to approach this particular fight. But as BVO said, there's a lot on the line for Devin Miles Haney, for him to, get the win. And, everyone has been really anticipating this fight. This is like a true 50-50 fight for people to look forward to on November 22nd. So that's the thing I'm looking at. And as of right now, I'm kind of thrown off a little bit because I have to make some travel arrangements and I got to modify here. It might happen during this podcast.
Can I say one more thing? The boxing source. I respect your boxing knowledge. I was sitting here listening before I said something. You got some incredible takes, man. That you actually know what you're talking about. A lot of these dudes get on these podcasts, they don't know what they're talking about. So I respect your boxing insight. I respect your boxing mind and everything you got going on, man. Much power, much blessings to you, and safe travels when you do what you do. But man, I'm enjoying your boxing mind here. So thank you very much for even giving me the opportunity to come speak to somebody as vast, as knowledgeable as you are in the sport of boxing. So I appreciate that and thank you so much.
Salute fam, man. Just trying to, as they say, push the sport of boxing to the people and everything like that, man. As an old man, I try to do things as unbiased as possible. That's very tough as it is. As long as you don't talk. I guess it's the Russell brothers, man. I guess I'm biased towards the Russell brothers.
We know you biased towards the Russell brothers. Ain't no question about that. We know that.
Oh man,
we know you about as bad as Batman. You about as bad as Batman. We can't listen to nothing you say on the road. I had to think about that when you said that stuff about Emiliano not being able to stop Anthony. I said, I'm talking about the son. He's a homer. We're talking to a guy from Washington, D.C., so we know he's going to go for them. But shout out to Coach Eddie. He said something pretty cool. He said, if Devin gets knocked out, that's going to change things. If you seen Devin Haney get beat to death in this fight by the great young champion, Brian Norman Jr., what does that do for Brian Norman Jr., in your opinion, Boxing Source?
Ooh.
Where if he beat him dead, sleep, knocked out, cold.
Knocked him out cold.
Like the guy did Paul Williams, like one of those type of knockouts.
No, or like he did to Jen Sasaki earlier this year.
See, I don't count that because Jen Sasaki walked right to him, and Devin wouldn't do that. I don't.
Devin wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't walk right to him like that, or the way what was his name, Taleb. They're not gonna They walk right to getting beat up. Yeah,
but it should. Yeah, very good question, because on one side with Devin Haney, right? Mm-hmm. There have been people that have considered Devin Haney to be around the pound for pound top 10. Mm. So if Brian Norman Jr.
You talking about on the list, or are you talking about like below the list?
Yeah, right, like either on the list or just a notch below the list.
I never heard that.
So whether it was, maybe before the Ryan Garcia fight, or maybe they still have him on, right? Yeah, that could be something to have it under consideration. Like at least for me right now, he's at number 13. But like people kind of like considered Devin Haney as one of those more talented fighters, especially when he became the undisputed lightweight champion and then moved up to become the WBC super lightweight champion. So there you go, man.
You say you got Dev at 13
right now? Yes,
that's tough.
Right now, yes, but this is November.
Who's the other 12? I'm curious. When you get a chance.
And I haven't updated it since after the Terrence Crawford fight, so it's been a while. But for Brian Norman Jr., that would kind of give him a lot of buzz, given how popular, in a sense, like from social media circles or whatever it is, as far as like boxing fans are when it comes to Devin Haney. As you mentioned, like Devin Haney is probably a polarizing figure within boxing social media. Either they really like him or they really hate him. So if you have a moment where you end up knocking out Devin Haney, a lot of people are going to react to it. So if Brian Norman Jr. gets that, then you're going to see a lot of buzz around Brian Norman Jr.
Yeah, and the thing about him, I think the thing that suited my brother TD Sports, TD Sports tried to steal my wallet, man, but salute to TD Sports. But the reason I say that is because I think people don't understand that Brian Norman has a special thing with his power. I think he's a little bit too offensive, in my opinion, to beat Devin. But I just honestly think when you got a guy who's been in the ring with people like Victor Post, Jean Pascal, better yet, I think Brian Norman Sr., brings another element that we missing. Am I wrong to think that?
As far as senior?
Yeah, I think Brian Norman Sr. is like the special weapon in this fight. I got Devin picked,
really,
but I think Brian Norman Sr. is a special weapon because he didn't been in there with some of the best, and he got his ass kicked by some of the best. So I know he know what he's talking about, and I know he know what he's looking at. You know what I mean? Because people forget about how good Jean Pascal was. He was a monster.
Yeah.
He was a monster, and Brian. People haven't watched the fight because he did unfortunately get knocked out. But Brian had some real success, and he didn't have a quarter of the power that his son had. So, not even a quarter.
Yeah. So, that to me is going to be another aspect to look at is the corners for both fighters. How are they going to be able to, put in the proper adjustments? I don't know if Shane Mosley Sr. is still there with Devin Haney or not, but that could be another thing to kind of look at too. So I'd like to see how these corners are gonna, react once we get to say a round 4 or round 6 or round 9. How are they going to be able to make an adjustment? We've seen what Devin Haney's been able to do a number of times in those instances. I want to see what Brian Norman Jr. does.
That's a very good point. And what you got on this? I know you wanted to ask a question. Go ahead, Free.
No, I was listening to what Boxing Source was saying, and a lot of the stuff he's saying makes a lot of sense. And the thing that I look at when you look at the Ryan Garcia fight, and this is why I say it's a 50-50 fight. Yes, Ryan Garcia did cheat Devin Haney, and he came in overweight. He was on PEDs, but the thing is, Ryan Garcia was still able to land that left hook. He was still able to land a punch. So when you got a guy who we believe is a bigger puncher than Ryan Garcia, he has power in both hands, who's a more athletic fighter than Ryan Garcia, who has better footwork than Ryan Garcia. He doesn't have to be on PEDs to land the right shot. Is Devin Haney going to be able to defend that? That's what I want to see, because we haven't seen Devin Haney defend against that shot since that fight that he had with Ryan Garcia. The Jose Ramirez was that wasn't a fight. I mean, it literally wasn't a fight. So we don't know if Devin Haney has corrected that flaw that he had. Does he still drop his right hand when he throws his left hook, or when he throws his uppercut? Does he still drop his hand? So we got to. This is the unknown, and this is why this fight is so intriguing, and this is why I say this is a 50-50 fight, because this is the first time that Devin Haney has been in the ring with somebody who just as big as him, just as athletic as him, with a longer arm reach and has a lot of power. So I mean, I want to see how this fight playing out. That's why I say I'm not picking a winner. I'm gonna sit back and see who comes out on top. I think this is a true 50-50 fight.
Can I please get in here, please, BVO?
Hey, hold on 1 second. Let me say this one thing, and I'll bring you in after this.
All right.
So, Prize, I know you spoke. I know Prize is a big fan of like any fighter that's black. But one thing Prize told me that I thought was pretty true was that maybe the experience factor I give Devin some trouble. Do you agree with Prize in that aspect, that the experience of fighting guys like JoJo Diaz, these little bitty guys that help him against Brian Noble, who got more reach than those guys, and probably is the biggest puncher and best athlete he's ever fought since Ryan? What would you say to that? Can you hear me, Boxer Source?
Hold on, repeat that real quick.
No, what I was saying is my brother Prize fighter came up. He's the one I was telling you about. That's a race fan. He said that he thinks that the thing that people are not giving into account is that Devin has an extensive knowledge of different styles and different fights. But I'm wondering, has he ever seen a guy this strong, this big, this athletic? Maybe you could say Ryan Garcia, but has he ever fought anybody this strong? What would you say?
Nah, I know it's been different styles, different fights. It's also been like different chief seconds. When it comes to the corner of Devin Haney, you've seen it in his fights against George Kambosos, or Vasyl Lomachenko, or recently, there against Jose Carlos Ramirez. Like one thing that I'm kind of concerned at is consistency in the corner of Devin Haney. Yeah, you do have your dad there, but you're also having a chief second, and you're having that level of communication, or that camaraderie that you would have if you had a consistent corner. That plays a factor. This isn't like having Terrence Crawford, where you have Bomac, you have Esau Dieguez, you have Red Spikes, and it's been like that since day one.
Right.
Devin Haney is kind of like being, as they say, musical chairs. You would have Ben Davison, or as I call him, Chris Jericho, in the corner for I have to see like how that would work here for Devin Haney, especially going up against a Brian Norman Jr., who, as you said, is around the same height, be around the same size, could have that type of speed and have power. Ryan Garcia is like a quick twitch fighter, so he relies kind of like on instinct, so to speak. But at the end of the day, as D3 was talking about, he was still getting caught with the same punch. He was still like kind of undisciplined in mid-range up close. So we got to see if he's patched that up here against Brian Norman Jr.
Go ahead and say.
Okay, back to the thing. So the thing is, what I'm really not understanding is, and not from the brother, but the other brother that was speaking, I want to know, where did he get this from, where Brian Norman was stronger than Ryan Garcia on 2 different steroids and overweight? I need to understand what doctor told you that, what power scouter that you read from Dragon Ball Z that told you that. I need to understand, where did you get this knowledge from, because no one else seems to know this knowledge but Devin Haney haters. I don't even think Brian Norman knows if he's stronger than Ryan Garcia on 2 different steroids. I don't understand where that came from. Can I get that question answered first?
That's crazy.
But, that's a wild question. But go ahead, D3.
First of all, I never said that Brian Norman was stronger than Ryan Garcia on steroids. I said Brian Norman is the bigger puncher, and he got power in both hands.
BVO, if he talking, I
So,
can't hear, bro, and I might need to get off of this right here and go back on my computer because I can't hear nobody or nothing.
Yeah, he talking, man. Go out and come back.
I gotta leave. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
Go ahead, Free. Can you hear me, Boxer?
like I said, you're going to quote me, quote what I said. I said Brian Norman is the bigger puncher. Ain't nobody said nothing about being stronger than Ryan on steroids or none of that. See, this the problem when you have the Devin Haney fans. They only hear certain things. They don't hear the whole statement. Like I said, Brian Norman is naturally the bigger puncher. He has power in both hands. He's the more rangier fighter. He's naturally the bigger guy. He's been at 147 much longer than Devin has been at 147. Yes, Devin is a big boy. He's growing into the weight or whatever. But Brian Norman is naturally the bigger guy. So it makes for an intriguing fight. I've never
naturally
said Devin
bigger.
Haney
How?
was going to lose. I never said Brian Norman was going to lose.
I don't think he's naturally bigger than him.
I don't either. Devin Haney looks shredded like a middleweight.
Devin Haney was actually looking down at Brian Norman Jr. when they had
Right.
things to
He's
make
taller.
sure that Devin's bigger. But just because you're bigger than me, what makes you think you're stronger than me? I need to
Right.
understand that part too.
He got more punching
I never
power than
said
Devin does.
stronger. Never
I
said
need to understand.
stronger. Okay, so I said he's the bigger puncher.
He said bigger puncher, not stronger.
Okay, was he a bigger puncher because Devin Haney was maybe drained? Or was he a bigger puncher? Maybe we got to factor that in. He was drained coming into those fights. Do we even factor that in or no? Do we factor in what he did to Regis?
Brian Norman is the bigger puncher. He has power in both hands.
He been punching people dead. I mean, Boxing Source, you seen it close up more than anybody. I know you and a couple brothers have seen more of Brian. Brian Norman is punching people and they peeing on themselves, dog. This dude's punching the life out of people.
Can you tell me?
I'm talking about if you see it live. I can't. Okay. I'm not gonna play that game. I know where you're trying to go. I'm not playing that game. I'm talking about in real life. He's beat niggas dead. I'm talking about in real life. When you see him, niggas is up there unconscious when he's fighting. I mean, that's the thing. The only thing I will give you is this. It's verse people who we haven't heard of. That's the only thing I will say. But let me ask you this, and I'll ask this to Boxing Source.
Okay.
Boxing Source, what do you think about Brian Norman saying that, hey, you don't know what you can do until you do it? Put me in there and I'm gonna show you what I can do. Do you like that? Do you like that kind of confidence from the young champion? What would you say, Boxing Source?
That's the comment there from Brian Norman Jr. He's there with the approach that he believes that he will be able to beat anybody that he steps in the ring with, and that's kind of like how we we're saying that with that statement. So you have someone with that level of confidence right now. Of course, given what he's been able to do since his no contest, no decision against Jenison Bogachica. So he's been beating up Giovanni Cabrera, whatever it was, like I said, Sasaki and one other fighter. So his confidence is through the roof right now. So approaching this bout against Devin Haney, that's how he's going to do it. But he is not going to underestimate Devin Haney and what Devin Haney has done in his career so far.
So that being said, this is my question. This is my big question, and I asked the whole panel this: have we ever seen a guy like a Devin where he really can get knocked out, and he's not a big puncher? We can say what we want. He's not a big puncher. We've seen him hit Ryan with everything he had, and Ryan just beat his chest like a monkey. Have we ever seen a guy who's not a puncher fight all these punchers? I was looking through my notes, Boxing Source. I haven't really seen a guy that's not a big puncher like chase punchers the way Devin has. Have you seen that?
I have to, check that. Look that up and see maybe. But he's, like I said, had a few of these challenges here in the past there, as far as Antonio Moran or what was it, Linares, and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
So I'm
Pretty
like,
Boy Floyd did.
but
Boy
see,
did.
he was considered a puncher though. That's the thing you got to remember. Pretty Boy Floyd was pretty much from 130. He started at 130 from 130 to about 140. He was kind of considered a puncher. He was never really considered like a guy who couldn't punch. He just when he had what was that fight when he fought the dude in Atlantic City, he kind of like was broken down. I think that's when he changed.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question, BVO? Nobody
Go
asked
ahead.
you a question. Let me ask you a question. So when is two questions. When is the last time you haven't seen Bill Haney in Devin Haney's corner? And who was in Devin Haney's corner when he won undisputed and all entitled that he won? Who was in his corner? Like who was his coach in his corner?
I believe his dad was in his corner, but if I'm not
he been there
mistaken,
for long. Oh, he been
but
there.
he had. Hold on, let me say this. He also had a guy and his godfather's father and Yoel Judah who coached his son to an undisputed title too. So I don't know if you give Yoel Judah any credit. I think that's the best I ever seen Devin look when Yoel Judah was right there in the corner with him as his second. That's my opinion.
So
I think Yoel Judah's a hell of a coach.
My thing is the second and the third can be interchangeable, but the first always remains. And the first was always his dad. So his dad's been there through his whole career winning titles with him. No matter who you get the knowledge from, your coach.
You say the second is interchangeable. I would disagree because I haven't seen Devin look as dominant since Yoel hasn't been in that seat. I mean, he really beat George Kambosos up that second fight.
Hold on.
He beat him up.
BVO, what I'm saying, I think you're overshooting it right here, and I think you're overthinking it. My thing is Devin Haney's father's been in his corner the whole time. Through all them fights, Devin Haney's father there. So he does have he's definitely been there consistently. He's been in his corner. No one else been the number one but him. So to say he doesn't have the same connection that Brian Norman and his father has, I think that's kind of overshooting when every fight you can pull up, you will see Bill Haney there. If I'm not mistaken. If I'm mistaken, then someone can come back
I'm not, and this is what I'll say, because I feel like Bill and Devin were learning the fight game at the same time. Because if you remember, he started out with Floyd Sr., and Floyd Sr. I don't know if he got sick or he wasn't 100%. I know he had surgery at some point. I really think Devin, in my opinion, has not been what he could have been because he didn't have Floyd Sr., because I've seen Floyd Sr. revitalized Oscar De La Hoya, the greatest living fighter. Am I wrong, Bob? So you seen a different Oscar when he was with when he was with Floyd Sr. So that's what I mean when I say that. Most people who watch Devin don't realize Devin really hasn't had a super experienced coach. He's been more or less learning with his father. And there's nothing wrong with that. They've been very successful. I'm saying I like the way he looked with Yoel Judah that second fight, because he was bringing a fight to Kambosos. And that second fight was more than just a jab. He wasn't scared. He went in there and he let his hand. Because have you ever seen Devin throw more than a 3-punch combination?
I've seen him throw a 4-punch combination when he fought Loma.
And that's when he got caught. You see what I mean? Every time he throw in 11, and I'm talking about the 11th when he threw a more than 3-punch combination. I'm saying one thing I've learned about Devin, he only throwing maybe 1 or 2. Am I wrong in this, boxer? Have you seen this where he's not really letting his hands go, so to speak? It's kind of like either 1, 2, 3, because he's kind of worried about getting caught. Is that just me, boxer source, or am I overthinking that one?
No, you're on point with that. He doesn't want to kind of like overexert himself as far as like a punch output or punch combinations are concerned. So you'll see like a 1-2 or maybe a 1-2-3, but anything more than that, not really.
Yeah. So that's my only thing, but I don't want to just spend the whole time on Devin and Brian. Let me ask you this. This is even a more exciting fight to me. What do you think about the David Benavidez, the Mexican Pussycat, going up against my man Anthony Yard? What do you think about that?
Wow.
You disrespectful, BVO. You real disrespectful, bro.
Wow.
How am I disrespectful?
Wow. Yo.
Because I said his nickname, that's his nickname. And his name the Mexican Pussycat or something like that. Ain't that what Mike called him?
Man. You know that's not his name, bro. I
thought that's what Mike called him.
This is a sick Negro.
Oh. Come on, man.
I'm just, hey, Boxer, am I wrong? This dude's a coward. This dude, took his ball and went to 175. He's a coward, man. He left.
BVO.
And David Benavidez, when I see you, hold on.
Hold, BVO.
Well,
BVO, you was the same one that told David Benavidez, stop trying to make a name off of Canelo, go make your own name. And then when he go make his own name, now he took his ball and left. He's a coward.
That's what he did. What do you want me to tell you, man? That's what he.
Well, I'll say this on that front, right? David Benavidez fought Caleb Plant, right? And this was what, March of 2023. Now, after that,
after he got knocked out, after he got beat dead by Canelo, we want to remember that as well.
Caleb Plant or had a fight in the interim, but besides that, right?
He did.
When Canelo had the deal with Premier Boxing Champions. Does people know who the first opponent was going to be for Canelo Alvarez?
David Benavidez, right? Or was it Jamal?
No, it was Jamal Charlo.
Okay.
So you have that. And then from that point, that's when you kind of like said, you know what? I'm not going to, be out there to try to force a fight or whatever it is. And he just, went his own way. And now in his own way, he's there under Riyadh season. He said that he'll have his next few fights under Riyadh season, which was kind of like news at the point when I found out.
Yeah.
So he'll have this fight against Anthony Yard. I highly favor him against Anthony Yard. And then after that, maybe we see him against Dimitri Bivol for undisputed.
Why is he going up to 175? Why don't he do what he said he'd do and fight Ja Obata? That was what he said, and it's like he's so inconsistent. Like, I don't know how people can even bring him up in the same voice as Canelo, who fights all the tough blacks and any Mexican you want him to fight. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Boxer Source.
The man
Hold on. Is that you, Free? What you said? Go ahead, Free. I didn't hear what you said.
No, the man father literally gave a 4-fight plan. He said, we got Anthony Yard right now. Then we're going to fight Arthur, and we're going to fight Bivol, and then after that, we're going after Ja Obata. He literally gave you a 4-fight plan. He's fighting. He got Yard right now, which that's not who he wanted to fight. He wanted to fight the winner between Arthur and Bivol, but because Bivol didn't want to make the fight right then, so he's fighting Yard. And then he said, after that, I'm fighting Arthur, and then I'm fighting Bivol, and then I'm fighting Ja Obata. Those are the 4 fights that he wants next.
So you saying after he already has ducked Arthur Beterbiev, now he wants to fight him. Now he's even older and been through 2 more wars. That's what you're telling me?
He never ducked daggone Arthur.
Yes, he did when he lost his belt on the scale. The great Mauricio Suleiman said, "Hey,
oh my
God, you lost your weight. I know you lost your belt on the scale, but I'll give you an opportunity to fight for WBC belt at 175." That's a true occurrence. You can look that up. That's not BVO making that up.
Yes. But the last time I checked, Mauricio don't make matches. He don't pay the purse to these fighters. And me and Thomas both talked to Scully. There was no offer for David Benavidez to fight Arthur. There was no offer for him.
No offer at all.
In order for you to duck somebody, there have to be an offer there that you did not accept. There was no offer there.
It wasn't an offer. It was an opportunity. And he turned
yeah. You are the biggest flip-flopper known to man. Like, Boxer
hold on.
What's good, Boxer Source? Salute to you.
This Puerto Rican's out of order, man. He's coming up here.
But I want to reveal. I got to reveal how you flip-flop and stuff. So, Boxer Source, once again, salute to you, man. It's good to talk to you again. And everybody in the panel is saying D-Free. Hopefully you recover from Seattle whipping that ass. Prize fighter. But, this is the same guy that a year ago, about a year and a half ago, was criticizing Beterbiev, right? And he was like, Morrell is the guy, and Morrell's going to take over the division. He's the next. He's going to be a future heavyweight champion. He was praising Morrell and everything. And then when the fight was made, he said, Benavidez is going to beat him. He's going to beat him to death. He flip-flopped. He went from Morrell, praised him a whole episode of a show, to then turning on Morrell and picking Benavidez. And now he's killing Benavidez again. So BVO, your word is really not worth that much, bro, because you've been caught.
This is a sick
I even
Negro.
played the video of you flip when you denied it.
So this is my question. Source. This is the thing that we've been dealing with for many years, is when we have outside agents that come into the black community and they try to like turn us against each other. And I'm just wondering, what does he get out of trying to turn you, my brother, against me? And I think it's sick. And I know that you're not gonna go for that, because we all know that all I ever wanted to do was see David Benavidez fight Canelo, and he didn't make himself available. He couldn't make weight. Canelo had to move on to fight your Durham. Can you let people know about that? Go ahead, Boxing Source.
So you're going off of something that happened many years ago. Instead of him, Benavidez, that is, getting himself back up to the point where he is the interim super middleweight champion and getting himself in position to have that same opportunity that Abner Yildirim had. That's on one end. But we'll move past that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go into this instance for him being the interim champion for the light heavyweight division, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while you had Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol going first for fight for, undisputed, that was delayed in a sense because it was supposed to happen earlier in the year instead of in October of that year. Then they go ahead and have a rematch, okay? And in that rematch, well, Benavidez said, because he was in attendance, that he wouldn't mind facing the winner of either one of those fighters. It's just that, they wanted to go ahead and at the time make a third fight between Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. So they went ahead and they just said, you know what? Well, I mean, I'm the mandatory and I'm going to just do my mandatory duties at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was him or at the time his promoter, Sam Salukowicz, to enforce that mandatory. So that's what they did. So he is now the WBC light heavyweight champion, whether he has Sam Salukowicz there as his promoter or now as he does not. Either way, he still wants to fight either one of those guys. So
you saying they emailed him a belt? They put the belt in the mail and sent it to him?
I don't do email. I don't do that email term because that doesn't necessarily.
That's a stupid term.
It's kind of selective.
It's dumb.
It's selective because if we do that, then they would kind of like say that Devin Haney was an email champion when he got the WBC lightweight title, when it was Vasily Lomachenko that had no issues being elevated to, as they say, the WBC franchise champion.
Yep.
So you have those instances, or like if Gennady Golovkin was emailed the belt, no one knows much about that. So it's selective when they use that term.
I definitely agree with that, because I think it's crazy that because Canelo was offered a designation, people call that ducking. But it's no different than when they had the WBA super belt where you can, unify the division and they still got a regular champion. So I don't understand this whole, and that's kind of above my pay grade. I know you know that kind of stuff, but I'll ask you this. So if Canelo would have knocked out David Benavidez early, or Lomachenko, who had just beat Luke Campbell, who was considered to be a very good fight for the WBC strap, if he would have beat a baby Devin Haney, would he have got full credit?
I think so, but the thing about it is, with that particular instance, that was a top-ranked special because it was supposed to be Luke Campbell versus Devin Haney for that belt.
But they just canceled the
wrong
fight.
Promoter. Well, he signed with the wrong promoter. Ain't that what Bob said?
Wrong promoter.
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao's going to fight Terrence Crawford.
Let me tell you, this.
So ESPN just reported that the fight between Jake and Tank is off.
Yeah, that is.
That is off.
That's the best thing. That's the best news that I could have ever received all
That is
week.
9 p.m.
That's not,
Wow.
not for me. It ain't.
I held it back
Not for
because
me,
I
it
had the email since 9 p.m.
Oh no, that
Yeah.
means Antoine ain't gonna fight.
No, they redoing the card. They're redoing the card.
They're redoing the card because I've seen reports that one of those fights could be pushed to December 14th. So
Yeah, December. Yeah, and they're gonna move the Alicia Bumgarner.
Yeah.
And that girl she fighting to December 14th.
They're doing. Yeah.
And they're gonna let the Gary fight go on. They probably put it on that card in December. That's probably what they'll do. They'll probably put that in San Antonio.
Like I said, that means that's not a good outcome for me. Because
I'm gonna say
this man been waiting to fight for a while now.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'll bring my brother Insane on this as well. And I could be wrong on it. Is this not the dumbest thing you ever seen in your life, Boxing Source, where a guy just blew a chance to make a 10-figure payday over some foolishness? Is this not like the dumbest moment in boxing?
It's stupid.
It's got to be. This dude got to be the dumbest nigga in the world. You got to be
the
the
dumbest
nigga in the world to mess up a fight like that.
Stupid.
You got an easy fight.
Y'all know that how many people that I'm affiliated with in the boxing game.
No, I'm not talking about him in general. I'm just saying that's got to be the dumbest thing in the world.
But in a sense, given the whole situation, okay, I don't know how many people in this like panel or whatever it is from the South or knows the South, but there was a song by a rapper by the name of JT Money, okay, and the first words of that song was "Let it go, let it go." If y'all know the rest, then I'll leave it at that. Okay.
Yo, Boxing Source, when did you get the email?
9 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh yeah, I got it too. I thought you said 9 a.m. I was like, damn man, we get the same emails. What the hell? I was like, damn, you way up there than me, bro. I was like, shit. I got it. 9 o'clock.
I don't get special treatment like that now.
No, I was just
you get more special treatment than me. But
let me.
I got it at 9
well,
o'clock.
Hold on, Tommy. Don't pickle pull him. Don't pickle pull. I want him to fall out.
Man,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Whoa.
Hold on. Let me ask you this. Hold on, Insane. Let me ask you this real quick, man. This is a serious question because I don't want Kennedy or Coach Calvin or Senior or Coach Squeeze to be mad at me. So, what do you think about a guy messing up a 10-figure payday? In your opinion, Insane?
There has to be things behind this, what's going on behind the scene. And my whole thing is this, and y'all gonna have to accept it for what it is for my answer. I don't believe Tank Davis wanted to fight in the first place, and this was his way out of it. So, but if it was me, I gotta honestly tell you, you have to be stupid. You have to be stupid to turn down I think 40 million or whatever. But in a real way, Tank Davis ain't been interested in boxing for years, and he's showing it. So he don't have a love for the sport. So it's just his way out. And that's my answer to that question.
I don't think he's going to try to figure out a way out of $40 million, Insane. But I do think that this is bad for him because he probably has so many different plans. You know, when you think you about to get some money, you start spending money. You know what I'm saying? He's not getting that payday now, and that's what he get for trying to play wrestling. I don't feel bad for him.
Hey, I mean, but my whole thing is we can't convict the man until he have his day in court. Because
I'm not saying I don't care about that. The fight is off.
No,
is what I'm talking about.
But what I'm saying is they put the fight off, but that doesn't mean that the man is guilty. That just
we talking about the money.
I'm talking about the money
We're not talking about the fight.
I'm just saying, but we saying he did something stupid. It's not necessarily.
No. I said he was stupid for being in a situation.
No,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The man went to go see a female. Now, like I said, we
He
don't
did
know
more than that. Apparently, for the fight is off.
No, listen.
You're not listening to what he's saying.
Are you gonna let me talk or you gonna talk?
Go ahead.
I've been quiet for like 2 hours.
Go ahead.
But carry on.
No,
man, come on.
The man went to go see a female, but that doesn't mean because what the female said he did, he actually did. I mean, he still got to have his day in court. We'll find out if it's true or not. But at the end of the day, we don't know what happened. We just know that he has a lawsuit, and we'll find out what comes out when he go to court.
Ain't this crazy? Ain't this the same thing that happened to Rolly Romero too? Like around the Tank fight. That's funny.
That's one thing that came up. But if you think about, Tank Davis as far as like the past year or year and a half, right? This is like after his fight with Frank Martin. You had the whole back and forth with Shakur Stevenson, Vasyl Lomachenko, Jose Raul Valenzuela, Lamont Roach Jr., and Lamont Roach Jr., of course. Okay.
Oh, I never heard of him. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Don't please.
No, I'm messing with you because you're from DC, man. I got to mess with y'all DC guys. Man.
But if you think about it though, all of these reschedules, all of this, back and forth stuff, like young brother said, when you're pretty much like 1 foot out the door, you might as well put the other foot forward too.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree with what you guys.
Let me finish, Tommy. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you finished. My bad.
No, if you had this basically planned since March, either March 1st, 2025, or February 28th, 2025, you in a sense knew that you were going to fight Jake Paul, regardless of the results of the fight against Lamont Roach Jr. That's why you had all of those delays. That's why they weren't necessarily up front and coming forward to the party of Lamont Roach Jr. Because I was there. I go to the camps over there with No Excuse and Lamont Roach Sr. And they said, hey, they delayed this, they delayed this, they delayed this. Once we seen that they're having, Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios, we're kind of getting the idea that we're not getting the fight. So you go from that. Then you have this thing here with Jake Paul. Okay, it's an event. One, it was originally scheduled to be where? In Atlanta. Then they move it. So then you move it to Miami. And now here we are. Pretty much it's supposed to be within a week's time. And now we get that this thing is completely scrapped. Like I said this on the podcast yesterday. I said, listen, I got one word for all this because at the time I wasn't sure that was going to happen. I said, hey, all I have is one word for y'all, insurance. And I'm going to tell y'all this. I'm glad that I got mine.
Hey, Bobby Search, man, I just hit you in the back of the head. You're a wild boy. I'm glad I got mine. But I'll say this, man. And I get it. I got to message y'all DC boys, man. But it's just sad to see, man, because, we have a little fun with Tank, but I don't want to see his family lose that kind of money, man. Anytime you got and I don't know the business, I just don't want to see a guy lose that kind of opportunity because people from the ghetto don't get these opportunities every day. So I think no matter how it goes, man, I'll be honest, man. I'm pretty sad about this, man, for Tank.
I ain't sad. Why are you sad?
I'm sad about this. I'm sad about
we wasn't getting none of the money.
I think it's not about you missing part of the point. It's not. I don't think the fight's not happening because of what he allegedly done. I think that Tank doesn't want to fight. I think I agree with what his saying is saying. I think once the fight got closer, and once it started becoming a little bit more real to him, and the fact that even though it's an exhibition, like what if I lose? I think all these things start going through his mind. I was at the press conference. Like, the nerves was there. Like, there was something not right. You know what I'm saying? I know it was a show and everything, and Jake Paul was acting this way and that way. Listen, they moved the fight to Miami. Now, they're saying because of some situation in Atlanta, but I think they moved the fight to Miami because that's where Tank is at. They try to make it more convenient for Tank. And still, at the end of the day, he can't. Now, never mind what he did or did not do. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, he could be like, look, it's all BS. He could have a good PR team, whatever, and they could still go through with the fight. I think that he doesn't want to fight. I agree with him saying, and I agree with the boxing source as well. I think he was just looking for a way out. I don't think he wants to fight anymore. I think he just wants to, go away and take some time, whatever the case may be. He's given signs of this before. I mean, we already knew he was trying to get the easy money fight. I called it on March 1st. I was one of the first that said the next fight will be Jake Paul. I don't care what anybody says. He's looking for the payday, right? When people was like, Jake Paul, what? What are you talking about? I called it, and he's just looking for an easy payday. He said it before. He wants to take some type of not medication, but he wants to go see a psychiatrist, a therapist, whatever the case may be. His mind's not right. The guy's got issues, and I just think the guy needs to just go away, take care of what he got to take care of, and maybe come back in the future. But his mind is not into it. He doesn't want to.
Hey, Thomas, remember that press conference there in New York? And stepped up, and I asked that question to both of them.
Yes.
I said the thing in reference to them as far as like stating their case for being the face of boxing, because that is something that both of them claimed at one point in the past. And when you had that pause and silence from both, and I was like, hey, y'all better say something, goddammit. Y'all better say something. I was like, nah, you could see that Tank wasn't, he wasn't really into the whole thing with the press conference or whatever. So, hey, if he got to step away, he got to step away. But, you know what I mean?
I mean, this is like, I don't know. I could be wrong, but man, it's so hard. Shoot to my brother, at the dang, hold on. I don't know, man. I'm at a loss for words because I just know how hard it is to get these kind of opportunities, man.
Well, can I pick it up for you then, BVO?
Shout out, salute to brother Carter Croc Hunter.
No, I'm just saying this boxing. So I just never thought, man, like, wow, like, you know what? I think, and I hardly ever agree with Insane because he's usually Insane like his name, but he made a really great point, and I think like you guys might be right. I think Tank really probably don't want to fight, but to like not get this money is like, man, at least you could have took a bag home. It's like going to somewhere and not taking a doggy bag. Like, I mean, I don't know. This is crazy. This is crazy. I never thought I would hear that, but wow. I don't know.
Or maybe it's just the fact that when it's getting so close, he don't want to fight. That's the thing. He's not there mentally. But knowing that he doesn't want to lose and knowing he doesn't want to be embarrassed, this dude's going to be 2-something when he gets in this ring. He has really a 95% chance of knocking Tank Davis out. Like, he don't want to be on. You see how they got Devin on the memes with what happened with him and Ryan? He don't want to be that, bro. And he knows that there's a possibility, a strong 90% possibility that Jake can knock him out because he's knocked bigger men out. He don't want to be a meme. He's not in the game right now. And I figure if you dress up as a woman, that's the only way you can get Tank in the ring, if you're a woman.
Wow.
Hey, man, no, that's a professional show. Don't say
That's in black and white.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
That's in black and white. I'm just saying what's on the police report.
Hey, you cold, man. You cold, because I'm going to say this. Me and you both don't want to be defined what they put on paper for us. So I ain't even going to do that. I won't do that. That's.
But I bet you don't got no. I bet you don't got no whipping no female charge. I bet you that.
No,
none of y'all. None of y'all on this panel.
I'll say this. I ain't proud of nothing that happened with our situation. But I ask you this, Boxing Source, because I know I don't want to keep you too long. I want to ask you this, Boxing Source. So if that's the case, how would you rate Kane's career in your opinion, man? You know, you got a vast knowledge of this game. What would you say his career? How does career go in your opinion? I think he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. What would you say?
First ballot Hall of Famer. I that's subjective because it's about who's actually voting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've already stated by case in reference to this particular ballot that they have, and that they say that one fighter in particular is a first ballot Hall of Famer when he really shouldn't be. So with that being said, I don't think like a fighter like Tank Davis will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Even though he's like a multi-division champion and, has some, good wins on his resume that are aging pretty well right now. The thing that I think people will remember is what could have been with Tank Davis as far as like potential fights that could have been out there on the horizon for him or that could have been on the docket for him. and that they'll probably remember him more for that than his actual fights he had.
I missed that last part. Say one more time, please.
As far as like Tank Davis, I think people will remember more for the fights that he didn't have than the fights that he actually had.
There's
you
no
think
way.
beating two of the current welterweight champions, you think that's something that people will smile on, like they do with Floyd fighting James. With Roy fighting James, Tony, and Bernard. You think that'll be something that'll be shined on him in a good light?
Or as far as like him fighting guys that became future champions?
Yeah, both of the guys being welterweight champions. Go ahead.
Yeah, you would think so, but I'm given this current state of like how some people view fighters, I don't think that it's going to be kind of viewed that way.
I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer at all. Especially with the outside of the ring stuff, they'll punish you for that.
Oh man, you gotta quit that, bro. People make mistakes.
Jermaine Taylor isn't in the Hall of Fame.
What did Jermaine Taylor do?
What?
Jermaine Taylor almost was trying to kill his own cousin.
Don't say the K word. He tried to unalive somebody?
Oh yeah, he tried to unalive his own.
Yeah, and that's the reason he's not in now. Because if you go based off his career, he's been in there with some. And don't forget that he did win a title at super middleweight, so he's a 2 division.
So for that example with Jermaine Taylor, if you put Jermaine Taylor on the list of the 42, remember 42 fighters that are on the current ballot, would you say you would be able to get in over either 37 or 39 other potential candidates?
Depending who they are, I would say yes.
Okay. Hey, y'all go over that real quick while I pull up the thing for like the names, because I have it like on.
Go ahead, Boxing Source. Go ahead, do what you do.
Yeah, pull it up there real quick.
Well, you had guys recently that got in that I didn't think shouldn't get in. One
like who, TD?
More and more notable. Listen, it does. But rest in peace to Ricky Hatton. I don't think he should have gotten in the Hall of Fame as quick. But the Hall of Fame.
Didn't he beat Costa Zoo to death?
Can I finish, bro?
Jesus.
The Hall of Fame has a different kind of criteria now, and they don't look at kind of like who fighters have fought. Now they're looking at the gates. How much money they paid and stuff like that. Like Hatton was a big time fighter in the UK, and he sold out arenas. That's why I think Tank is going to get in, because I think he's got like 7 or 8 gates in a row where he sold out or something like that. They're looking at why Gotti got in. Gotti made Atlantic City pretty much. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think he was a Hall of Fame fighter. I thought he was borderline, but he got in. So like, there's been some recent guys that got in that probably shouldn't have. Jermaine Taylor. His resume is great. And he beat Hopkins twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Y'all
There's
ready?
no way that Tank Davis should get in, or anyone should get in on the money that they made at the gate. That has nothing to do with boxing. That's just the people's eyes on it. It has something to do with the competition that you have in the ring. That should get you into the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
But
money fraternity for the greats. Yeah, but that's
money
just what it is.
Shouldn't have anything to do with it. So with these guys, and this is like the guys in the NBA that pick who the MVP is. No, you should get in for the things and the merits that you did. Not like a Tank Davis resume is garbage. When he retires, they're not going to remember. They're not going to remember him from anything. But when he knocked the Mexican dude out, that's about it.
Leo Santa Cruz is a 3-division champion.
4 division, I think.
4 division. My bad. 4 division
Anybody else? Tank Davis has nobody on his resume that can add up to him.
He beat two of the current welterweight champions.
You talking about Rolly and Barrios?
Rolly or Mario Barrios will not be anywhere near the Hall of Fame.
Rolly is a 2-time champion now.
Rolly Romero will not be anywhere near the Hall of Fame. For you to say that Tank Davis is the first valid Hall of Famer is insanity at its best.
Yeah, no, it's because you're not watching the sport.
brother, I've been entrenched in this
Hold
sport
on, one second.
since Layla Ali
Go
fought
ahead,
Katie
Boxer
Martin.
Source. Hold on. Go ahead, Boxer Source.
But the way that it's put is like his resume is being thrown completely out the window. Now, someone mentioned Jermaine Taylor, right?
Yeah.
As far as like being in. So would he get in over, and I'm going to just name some names, right?
Mm-hmm.
Arthur Abraham, Nigel Benn, Lushan Butte, Joel Cosomayor, Chris Eubank.
Wait, Casamayor not in yet?
No.
Damn.
Acelino Popo Freitas, Mikey Garcia, Gennaro Hernandez, Mikel Kessler, Darius Mazuzki, Sven Aki, Sean Porter, Antonio Tarver, Meldrick Taylor, Fernando Vargas, Wilfredo Vasquez Sr. And that's just some of the names of the
Vasquez not in either?
No.
That's nasty.
And that's part of the 42 that is on the current ballot.
So
he'll get in on that. He'll get in on that.
Arthur Abraham knocked Jermaine out, right?
Yeah, and he was that's what I was going to mention.
But he cheated though.
Arthur Abraham, you mentioned his name, and it's like he beat Jermaine Taylor, but Jermaine Taylor won like almost every minute of that round, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the Carl Froch match. Well, Carl Froch was a little bit more competitive, and then he got knocked out in the last round. But Arthur Abraham is, to me, not a Hall of Fame fighter.
Not at all.
I think
Tarver is a straight one-hit wonder.
But
I'm about to say Tarver not a Hall of Fame fighter neither.
I don't think he is.
Yes, he is.
They gonna give it to him because he knocked Roy out.
Here's the thing.
Hold on. They gave it to him because he knocked Roy out, but they didn't give it to Jermaine Taylor, who beat Bernard Hopkins twice.
Yeah, see, that's where it gets funny at. For go ahead, Boxer Source.
Roy was at the top of the pound for pound rankings. Right?
Yeah,
top of his game.
Yeah, he was.
That was it, clear cut. So that's one.
He just won a heavyweight belt.
You have Tarver that won those titles and won another title within the higher the weight class. And you also have like I said, how could you have someone like a Mikel Kessler that has his only losses to Hall of Fame fighters and beat one of those Hall of Fame fighters, Carl Froch, before Froch beat him?
Even though I thought, even though that fight was questionable, I thought Froch.
Yeah, that was super questionable.
That was a good fight, though, T. It was a good fight. That was a great fight.
No, it was. I thought Froch won.
I thought Froch won. I thought they just tried to be controversial. That's all.
And I'm gonna tell you guys something like that. Y'all probably didn't know. Carl Froch is probably my favorite UK fighter. So I'm a little bit biased towards Carl Froch.
He's probably my favorite UK fighter.
It's for me. It's Carl Froch, hands down.
Yeah, probably. I probably think he probably. Yeah, I would go with Froch.
No, my favorite UK fighter is Lennox Lewis.
Yeah,
Mine
true
is
that.
Lennox Lewis.
True that. I'm tripping.
Lennox Lewis as well.
Yeah, I'm tripping.
From Canada.
Yeah, but I see. Yeah, I see him for Canada because didn't he represent Canada in the Olympics?
Yeah, he represents
England, and you can hear the way he talks. He's from the UK. He clearly he like tea and crumpets. Like, come on now.
No, that's a good point.
Pip. Yeah. Kind of like what's his name, Jean Pascal, that French Canadian dude.
Yeah.
Hey, it's kind of like Tio. Tio represents Honduras in the Olympics, but he's an American fighter.
Yeah.
I think they got like that. They're part of the crown, so I don't know.
Embiid represented the United States, and he's African.
They got the queen on their money.
True.
They got the queen on their money, so I don't know.
Boxing Source, those names that you read, I would pick Jermaine over a couple of them dudes. Like Acelino Papo Freitas, I don't think that he had a better.
I always thought he was overrated, Freitas.
Yeah, first of all, and I don't think that he had a better career than Jermaine Taylor. So I would X him off. Mikel Kessler, I'll put Jermaine over him.
Ooh, I couldn't.
Even Arthur Abraham, I know he knocked Jermaine out, but Jermaine was whipping him till prior to that. And then Arthur Abraham pop dirty or something after that. Wasn't something sticky about that?
Him with that. What about Vernon Forrest?
I love Vernon Forrest.
I love Vernon, but I think, like, you remember Vernon lost. Go ahead, Free.
No, I'm gonna say I think Vernon Forrest should be a Hall of Fame fighter.
You think?
I think Vernon Forrest should be a Hall of Fame fighter. Yeah, I think Vernon Forrest should be a Hall of Fame fighter. No, I'm gonna say I think Vernon Forrest should be a Hall of Fame fighter.
Yeah, I think he should be. I think he should be one. But would I put him over Jermaine? I don't know.
Not right now. I think Vernon Forrest already just got on.
I would put Tarver.
You think so? Because you know he lost 2 times to Mayorga. He got stopped.
Yeah,
Then he
but he
lost a
also
12 round to Mayorga.
Yeah,
bro. That
but
was ugly.
As I mentioned,
he beat Shane Mosley
Tarver
twice.
Jones.
Yeah, that was his best thing. He beat Shane, and then after that, you didn't hear from Vernon when he lost twice to Ricardo Mayorga. That was pretty ugly. That was an ugly loss.
He won a world title in the higher division.
He got a belt back after that.
Twice.
Yeah.
He did what?
Vernon Forrest was like Winky Wright. He was one of those guys that was avoided a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of
true
people
that.
didn't want to fight Vernon Forrest.
Nah, the Viper was sharp, man. He was quick. He could hit hard.
He's an Olympian.
Yeah, I say Vernon Forrest, yes, but I mean I don't know. That's debatable over Jermaine. I would say that's a debate.
I say right now, to be fair, I would say Jermaine Taylor now because Vernon Forrest just got on the ballot this year. He was just put on there. Jermaine Taylor's been on the ballot for a few years now.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Let me ask you a quick question.
And DP Rocket said Mayorga get in.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, BVO.
Yeah, but Jermaine Taylor is not on the ballot.
No, he's not on the ballot at all.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Go ahead, BVO. My bad.
He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be either. After some of the stuff he did, I'm looking up what he did. But let me ask you this: would a guy like Andre Berto, the former Olympian, would he be considered a Hall of Famer in your opinion, Boxing Source?
Nah,
I can't do it. Who he beat? He lost all his big fights.
Who are you talking about?
Andre Berto.
Andre Berto. No, I don't think Berto's a Hall of Fame fighter.
Yeah, not at all.
I'm a big fan of him. That's why I was asking.
Nah, I rock with him. He's a good dude. I met him before. He's a good dude, but we just talking about boxing.
Don't say that to Randall Bailey. Randall Bailey can't stand Andre Berto.
Randall Bailey is crazy, man. I
That's
heard
his
him
fight.
yesterday.
That's my guy, Randall Bailey, man. Stop it.
Shout out Randall Bailey.
Y'all
man.
both crazy. I don't know who crazy, you or him.
Shout out Randall Bailey, man.
So let me ask you this too, Boxing Source. Would you put Adrian Broner in the Hall of Fame? First ballot?
Ooh,
youngest 4 division champion since
Four
Oscar
division
De La Hoya.
champion. There you go, for like 4 division champion. You know,
The youngest 4 division champion since Oscar De La Hoya.
First ballot, I say no, but Hall of Fame, you gotta put him in there.
I mean, they probably not gonna make him a first ballot because of all the stuff outside the ring.
Right.
Yeah, but again, this is why kind of like I criticize the Hall of Fame, because we know who's voting in those things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So people that we would consider as serious Hall of Fame candidates or should be in the Hall of Fame, those guys ain't gonna have them go anywhere near the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. Hall of Fame boxing is nasty, Boxing Source. Like, they don't have any criteria of what you're supposed to do, like the baseball, football, major league. Because if you look at someone like football players, their numbers are crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Some of the Hall of Fame guys.
Yeah,
in boxing, you can put a Rocky movie in there if you want. You can put some wrestling in there, I'm sure.
But that really helped boxing. That really helped boxing, though.
The thing about it is
you got guys.
It should be straightforward.
It should.
That movie won an Academy Award. I don't think people understand. That movie won an Academy Award. That was
but it doesn't. It's not real boxing though.
It pushed the sport forward.
No, it didn't.
How do you think it did push it forward sport to have the biggest action star in the world?
Boxing been doing boxing.
Hold on. His first Academy Award came through Rocky, the movie that was written about Muhammad Ali. What are you talking about? That's one of the best stories you ever could have.
Like,
and I'm a huge Rocky fan, BVO. I watched them all a million times.
Muhammad Ali, right? You know Apollo Creed is Muhammad Ali, right?
Of course, they definitely mimicked Muhammad Ali with Apollo Creed. His whole demeanor, his whole cadence, everything about that Apollo Creed was Rocky.
Sylvester Stallone wrote that.
Was Ali
movie? Sylvester Stallone wrote that movie. You're not putting Will Smith in the Boxing Hall of Fame for when he was the greatest. So stop.
DP Rocky got a crazy resume.
Hold on, it's not even close. It's not even close.
Balboa got a crazy resume.
Another problem I have with the Hall of Fame is that they're guys that I think should be Hall of Fame. They're not even on the ballot. Like Marlon Starlin, I think should be a Hall of Famer, and he's not even on the ballot.
Nasty.
Yeah, but he talking about somebody who had issues. Starvin Marvin had some issues, brother.
They all got issues.
It's crazy.
Yeah, some
You telling
serious
me that,
issues, man.
hey, if Apollo Creed was supposed to be Muhammad Ali, then I guess my question is, who's Clubber Lang? I'll fight you anywhere, anytime, for nothing.
Clubber Lang was that nigga was George Foreman.
The reason I say that is because when you watch the Academy Award, they got it on YouTube, which we are on right now. Muhammad Ali came out because he presented Sylvester Stallone with the award and said, "You know, you wrote that about me." And he said, "Yeah, I did." And they had like a good laugh. But like you said, like Pryor said, everything about Apollo Creed character sounded and looked like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, that definitely was Ali. They definitely took the cadence, the talking and how I'm pretty and how he talked fish in the ring, how he moved.
And he's a classy writer. He's one of. I'm gonna say this too. This is a little off subject, but Sylvester Stallone, Stallone is one of the greatest writers ever. People even realize that when he wrote Rambo, that was about his black comrade that he was coming to help. That dude's a classy writer. Shout out to my man Sly Stallone.
Yeah,
for sure. Let me say something about Sly for a second. And now I hear y'all saying that one character in that movie was supposed to be portrayed as somebody like mimic to be Muhammad Ali.
For sure.
I see very similar, but that was an underdog white man story about how a white man can make it. It had really nothing to do with the Muhammad Ali act. He was just a big bad wolf that the guy had to get over. And I love Rocky. I watched all of them.
What's the dude's name, Bossa Source, that sues Sly Stallone for stealing his life? That's the one that because he fought Muhammad.
It was
That's
a guy
what
that fought Ali, and he dropped Ali.
Yeah, he dropped Ali, the big drunk white boy.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot his name. Chuck something, a weapon or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got a point with that, DP Rocker. I want them to put Robert De Niro in there then. Since we
you might as well put Michael B. Jordan in there then. Go on and put Donnie Creed in there. He beat Andre Ward. He beat Andre Ward. He beat the two other fighters.
He beat Gabe Rosado.
I think
y'all knocked out George Groves.
Y'all be getting carried away with the whole
one at a time.
Y'all be getting carried away with the Rocky in the Hall of Fame. The reason Rocky is in the Hall of Fame is because it's one of the most recognized boxing movies of all times. That's the reason why.
So that can make you get in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, it won an Academy Award, bro.
It represents the sport. That's the most recognized boxing movie of all time.
The football, the NFL got any movies in their Hall of Fame? I'm asking because I really don't know.
Probably
they got writers. They got writers in the Hall of Fame. They got writers in the Hall of Fame.
Fair enough.
NFL.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
They're like that guy that used to do that guy when I was a kid and we used to on the VHS.
Like boxing swords might got it.
What was them tapes
I would say
called,
this.
TV?
Oh, let me say this. I would think Boxing Swords, Dante's Boxing Nation. A lot of some of these guys on YouTube might go to the Hall of Fame someday. People don't realize that.
You know what, bro? This is insanity, and that's crazy.
I'm not sure about.
Hold on. Do you know who Dante's Boxing Nation is, bro?
Yes, I know who Dante Boxing is from. He's from Long Beach too. We both from Long Beach.
You telling me a guy as innovative as Dante shouldn't get some type of love?
I ain't got nothing bad to say about Dante. We both from Long Beach, California. I ain't got nothing to say. Let's speak on somebody else.
Shout out Dante.
No, that's what we speaking on. What I'm saying. Hold on. This is what I'm saying. He was the first to really do crazy. He one of the first to really do it big in his YouTube space. I would say he's respected. He gave you real takes, and he was one of the first ones ever. I would say him and Ness.
That's the thing that's going to be the interesting part about the Boxing Hall of Fame when it comes to non-participant category, because you're gonna have those riders that are gonna be in. Like all of those guys you kind of like see now, like a Dan Rayfield or whatever it is, or like Keith Heidick. But then you're gonna come to a point where are you going to consider guys like Dante or guys like who is it for
Boxing Source?
Yeah.
Or Ness. You know, people don't like Ness, but I would say Ness should be in the Hall of Fame too.
So
people don't like Nestor Gibbs for other reasons, not because of his boxing takes.
I would say if we're gonna put anybody in there from the YouTube space, let it be 7A Sports TV and
Yes.
BFTV.
I don't know about BF. BF still kind of
No,
do.
I wouldn't say B. Well,
Definitely 78.
Listen, you can. We not. This not a pickle pulling session. We talking about dudes
Nah, I'm
that
not
actually
pickle pulling at
started
all.
this
I'm being
space.
honest.
No, because you don't even know who Dante is before you saying what you're saying.
That's my partner from
These
West
guys,
Side Long Beach. I
these are
know
guys.
Dante.
He just said that was his man
That's
from
my
Long
partner.
Listen,
Beach.
hold on.
He
Let
from
me
the
say
West
this.
Side.
Let me say this. People don't, and I'm telling you this, man.
DP Rocker out of
I'ma
control.
I'm
Shout
gonna
out
be
Big
real.
K.
People don't. Now, I definitely would say 78 for sure.
And
BFTB is still
BFTB.
young. He's still young in the game.
Yeah, he's
And
still
BF.
fresh. Nah,
He's
BF
still
still
young in the
young.
game.
You
I
got to
would
throw
put
Dante.
I wouldn't put him up there. I wouldn't put him up there with like a boxing ego who came from
I
Dante.
would put him over Boxing Ego any day.
Right
because
now.
you don't watch. You don't watch.
I used to
I
watch
know
Ego.
Ego from Cali too. You don't think I
Yeah.
know all these dudes from California?
Ego
Yeah,
from
from
North
Cali.
Me, I
Okay.
do.
I put the
It's not
little
about who. Listen, let me say this. Who cares where they from? I'm talking about what they've done to the space.
I put the homie Champ Side up there. He's dope.
Hold on. Listen, I'm gonna let you say this after I get done. I'm not saying anything about any YouTubers. I'm saying everybody won't get in, but I would say somebody like a Dante, a Ness. You could probably. I would put Black Fight Fan in before 78, but it could go either way.
So
because they came up together. I heard Black Fight Fan first. That's just me.
Nah,
so you can say either one. You can say either one because people don't even know about Black Fight. These dudes like invented what we do today. That's what I mean when I say that.
When you talk about like a Dante or like an Ellie Sekback.
Shout out Black Fight Fan, Texas in the house.
Shout out Black.
What BVO's talking about, he's talking about it's not that 78 and BF and those guys are not good YouTubers. It's the fact that these other guys that he's talking about
in it much longer than them. So when you talk about Hall of Famers and they talk about social media and they want to put people from the YouTube social media into the Hall of Fame, they're gonna look at the pioneers first. They're not gonna look at these other guys.
Well, you gotta put that
like Boxing Ego got over.
Yeah, I'm about to say you gotta put.
You got the boxing Dante Boxing Nation. A couple of 100,000 subscribers. These guys are pioneers.
Well, then if that's the case, you got to talk about Blue Blood. You have to say Blue Blood.
Blue Blood is a pioneer.
Yeah, and I was going to mention Blue Blood because Blue Blood is actually at the fights and he goes to the events.
Yeah, he's on deck.
He's the first. He's the first YouTube on the spot reporter that we've had.
That's not true. That's not true.
No. Listen, when I'm talking about a guy whose whole thing is breaking news, Dante and them were at the fights, but they wasn't into breaking news the way that you see Blue Blood. Blue Blood has done an amazing job at that.
Yeah,
and I would say this.
I ain't bad at Blue Blood. I fucks with Blue Blood.
And shout out to the whole LDBC. I
the
think
whole squad.
He's
not with them.
Shout out to the mighty LDBC.
Hold on. This is giving people credit. We're not doing no pickle pulling. What you seeing with Fernandez done? What you seeing with KQKC has done? 78. I think they're the best crew to ever do it. But I'm just saying, some of these guys are like pioneers. Like Black Fight Fan is a pioneer. He helped invent this, what we do. So that's what I mean when I say that.
There's some older guys like what's the homie? Not the homie, but I don't listen to him. But he's been around for eternity. What's his name? No, blood boxing. Yeah, he's
blood boxing.
But the thing is, when it comes to here's what I say to that, and I think that's a good idea, and I think maybe you never know that could happen. The thing is, like, and this, I think Boxing Source, we spoke about this with Rich months ago. There's really no media nowadays. There's no writers. Like all the guys that vote are like supposedly writers and media that cover the sport. There's no writers. There's no Boston Globe. There's no New York Times. There's the Boston Journal. Whatever. You know, and that's where a lot of boxing artists like. So I work with a guy on the radio called Pedro Fernandez. He's out in San Francisco. He wrote a lot of articles. He worked with Don King. You know, he'll never be elected in the thing. You know what I'm saying? And to be in the Hall of, you know, to vote for the Hall of Fame.
That's more bad blood. That's more bad blood than not off what he did.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is that now when the future, let's say 20 years down the line, when it's totally obsolete, there's no writers, and all the people in the Hall of Fame are older or maybe passed on that were writers. Is that maybe they will look to the YouTubers, but then it's gonna go to how do you select them? Because like you have a guy like Dante's boxing, and I know of Dante, right? And he's real good at what he does. But then you have a guy like Blue Blood that's actually doing reporting, and then you got Ellie Setback, because in the beginning Ellie was good. Now Ellie is kind of like
he's still good. He just ain't
he's a pickle puller.
He's a
but
fan. He's not.
But
yes,
listen,
he is.
But
It's
I'm
not
gonna tell you this:
you got to be biased. You can't. You got to be. You got to be biased. That's not the word.
That's not true. That's not
he
true.
Has a bias towards fighters.
Hold on.
Wait.
Boxing Source is everything DC, and we don't hold that against him.
That's fine, but he's biased to.
But he don't.
Period.
But his Boxing Source don't be being. He don't be being biased either. You might not agree with him, but
I know Boxing Source wants Gary to do well. I know he wants Lamar Roach to do well.
Yeah, so do I.
Gary
and I'm from Philadelphia. What's that mean?
No, I'm saying it's invested interest in those guys because those are guys that he can't. This dude was in the gym with the great Gary Senior, man.
Man, what's the boy named Blair the Flair from Philly? Nobody don't mess with him out here.
And let me ask you this, Boxing Source. Go ahead, Boxer. My bad. Go ahead.
So this particular topic I actually brought up in 2022 when I was at the Boxing Hall of Fame. I brought it up to a person by the name of Sean Zattel, in that you're going to have this kind of like come up where all of the things as far as like the print writers are going to become completely obsolete. Like you're not going to see them in any type of print media or anything like that. And to a certain extent, you're kind of seeing it right now that you're not even seeing that many people there on like the established media. Yeah, you might know of the Mike Hoppingers and this and that that's on ESPN or the Ring Magazine or whatever. But then outside of that, you really don't see like those writers that are doing the thing as far as like on a national scale. You know, he brought up, the person there that's based in San Francisco. Outside of that, you're not going to, see that many writers. So at a certain point, you're going to consider those that have been doing things online or through video. So this is something that's going to come up. The thing is, who is going to be on the panel that actually will vote these people in?
We're the committee.
And I would say, and another guy who don't get. He's a crazy bastard.
Before you go, BVO, so seriously, look, because another thing people got to look at to consider is like guys like Dante, guys like 78, guys like Blue Blood, they did it on their own. They had no backing. You got guys like, and I don't like to discredit people, but this is the God honest truth. You got guys like Mill City and some other guys that has some type of backing that gives them the opportunity. They're feeding them. He's not building it from the ground up. So how do you determine who's legit and who's getting fed? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's
You can't say that. You can't say that because everybody gets help. Everybody gets help. To be where they are, everybody gets help.
Well, the LGBT only help each other.
Hold on. When we talk about Dante's boxing, he had a close friendship with Floyd Mayweather. Let's not play like he didn't. He was one of the first ones getting Floyd content. And I'm not going to take Jose Aguirre, another guy. I'm just saying, and I'll put it like this: when you talk about a guy like a Black Fight fan, you talk about a dude who him and 78 partnered up and Fanon and Blood Boxing. I mean, KQK, them dudes really was like the first ones to really like build this space out to what it is, and that's why you kind of see them kind of get frustrated because another guy who don't get his credit, shout out to H Money. H Money, a lot of us came up on H Money. I think he should get some consideration. And he had a direct relationship with Devin and Bill Haney before a lot of people. Before you seen him with the LDBC, people seen Bill and Devin with H Money. So I'm just saying, Tom, everybody needs a relationship to get to the next level. I can't fault a guy because they know certain people.
It's not a relationship. I'm talking about backing where there's a group of people that's providing him with the interviews with the people to help with the channel. He's not doing it from the ground up, like I said, 78 Blue Blood and stuff like that. Like he's not building his own brand. He's got backing of people building his brand. if that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm just saying, I get what you're saying, but if he wasn't good, the show won't continue. And that's what I learned, because a lot of, like, prime example, me. I'm young in the YouTube game. We're 3 years in. We're seeing some huge things. And shout out to Prize Picks. I got a commercial coming. You're gonna be able to use code BVO to get 15% off your first pick and get $50 for your first $25 deposit. You'll get $50 for your first $25 deposit. So even I'm coming up and I'm saying shout out to Bernard Hackett, shout out to my man Bentley. There's always people that's gonna help you get to where you want to get, because and I'll be honest, unless you like a black fight fan who just is that jiggy where you know everybody, he was really close with Errol Spence's father. People forget about that.
Yeah.
Before we knew about Errol Spence.
No, and that's fine, but he built that relationship. With Bernard, but Bernard didn't just come to you. You built that relationship. That's just saying you did that on your own. You know what I'm saying? You build the relationship. That's what I'm talking about. These other channels are not building relationships.
That's why I understood you, PD.
It's I may not be explaining it right.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Like, you built the relationship
on your own. Nobody did it for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of double, we got my big brother Bernard. Hey, Bernard, let me ask you this.
There it is.
Can you hear me, Coach?
You kind of muffled, BVO.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
I hear you.
So let me ask you this: do you think a guy like who invented this YouTube space, like a Dante's Boxing Nation, do you think a guy like that would ever get in the Boxing Hall of Fame as a contributor or non-contributor?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think being in the Hall of Fame for somebody like that would be something that you have to say, what did you bring to the sport of boxing that either enlightened it while you were there or revolutionized it when you were gone? So when you look at that, I would say Dante's Boxing Nation has a chance at the Hall of Fame. I would say Ali Setback has a chance at the Hall of Fame. I would say Fight Hype has a chance at the Hall of Fame. And then I would also include Michelle Joy Phelps. But I think I don't include her much as from that aspect. But I do say she can make it because she was more of a hands-on correspondent.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's a fact. I rock with Dante, man. He always stood up for, and I know people say certain things about him, but he always made, like, he even woke me up.
Forget what people say.
I'm just saying, let me finish. The way he got my attention was the way that he woke me up to show me how racist boxing was. And I know people don't like to talk about that, and I don't really care to talk about it myself. But I'm just saying that kind of like, I was like, damn, because I was like a young boy watching all I was doing was watching the fights. I didn't get involved with the politics, but I followed the sport. I always knew who had the belts. I already knew all that stuff. But he kind of woke me up, and I started looking at stuff and listening and opening my eye. I was like, damn, this is crazy. You know what I mean? And then I found, like you said, Black Fight fan. Shout out to him. And shout out to Big 78, you know what I'm saying? Them some solid brothers to me. I don't even know them, but
some innovators, man. Some innovators.
Yeah, I respect them brothers, man. You know what I mean? And then Dante created that new media thing, and then people tried to run with it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't hear nobody saying that till you heard him saying that. I respect him and a couple of other brothers too. You know what I mean? I don't want to miss nobody else.
I think, like I said, Boxing Source. You know, I'm not saying it because he's here. But Boxing Source should be in the Hall of Fame because he's one of those rare dudes. Other than him being biased to DC, he really reported straight up and down. People don't really he don't get enough credit for doing that.
That's true too. I rock with Blue Blood too.
Go ahead.
Like I said, there's been a lot of people before me that have like done this stuff. Like I said, when I came in the game, it was pretty much during that transition era where either you have that where you're writing or you're basically doing the YouTube thing. When I started, that was basically the start of YouTube reporting and stuff like that started to be on the rise. So either like saying, hey, we're just gonna continue to write or like do as I was doing podcasting, and then eventually transition over to being on YouTube. So for me, like being on YouTube, that was like something I did, about 4 or 5 years ago, but I've been in the game for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is like differentiating from people that cover the sport that were writers, hardcore writers, and then those that had started the thing through YouTube, like a Fight Hub, like a Fight Hype, like a Michelle Joy Phelps, Marcus Villegas, like people like that. So as far as like the Hall of Fame, those people would be considered, but it will be some time before that happens, because you have to basically get, as I say, the old guard out of who is those who vote for the Hall of Fame. Once you start getting newer people in, then you'll see those guys be considered.
And you know, Fight Hype got that Mayweather push in the beginning. I ain't hating though.
Well, I won't say they got the push. They were the first one to report.
No, they got the Mayweather push in the beginning.
No.
What?
They were the first ones bringing the camera to Floyd, saying, "Do what you want." Nobody was giving Floyd a fair shake. I'm just going off with what I heard.
Floyd was on 24/7.
No, I'm talking about on the YouTube space.
Before that, Fight Hype was with him way before that.
That's what I'm saying.
So Fight Hype didn't get a push off of him; they pushed each other.
Yeah.
All right. So I can't disagree. It's hard to disagree with you because you're in the game and you've been in the game. So.
And I'll say that, and I'll ask you this, the free inboxing source. Now, when y'all talk about people getting a chance at the Hall of Fame, and this is just, and you gotta forgive me because I'm such a big fan of this guy. Do you guys think Gary Russell Jr. will get a Hall of Fame shot? Because I feel like talent-wise, he wasted his talent because he had the issue with Floyd or whatever happened. I don't know, but I've never seen a guy that good just never get his recognition. Am I wrong to think that he don't get enough recognition for the fighter that he once was? What would you guys say?
He gets recognition by his peers, but given his level of activity, he's not going to be considered.
How many times did he defend his title though? He was a champion.
He had it for like 6 years or so, 7
years.
years, something like
6
that.
years, but how many times was he in the ring?
It was like once a year, so I get you on that.
Was he avoided boxing source, or was that just his own choice?
In a sense, he was avoided in certain points because at least, even to this day, if I'm not mistaken, we still had not had a unification in the 126-pound division. That's crazy, ain't it?
That's a fact.
And
somebody get Susu a title shot, man.
When Gary had a belt, you had Leo that was out there. You had
he had 5 defenses. Damn.
And you had other fighters, like what was it, like 2 UK guys that were up at around the top of the featherweight division. They wouldn't fight, So that's the thing, and that's why it's gonna be a hard break for someone like Gary Russell Jr. unless if he's able to continue his career now and do even more things now. But as of right now, no.
Yeah, I hope he can get that talent to Antoine, man, because man, he never seen a guy that had all that talent like that, bro. It's just like, man, he didn't even fulfill it, man. He never got that fight with MJ. He never got that fight with Shakur or Tank. That's wild, man. Did
they didn't want to smoke with him. Remember, I just want to see him rumble. But you know what? I'm not going to act like he's retired. We talking like he passed in the past.
He's 37 years old.
I don't care. He looked amazing in his last fight, and I don't care who it was against.
He beat a dude out there.
I don't care. He hasn't fought in I don't know how many years, and he looked like he did not miss a beat. So I still got him rated. And where was he at 35 free? Or Boxing Source, one of y'all?
He was at 35.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I think that he's a problem at 135. Any one of them. You tell me, you name a name.
I don't think he can beat Shakur at this age.
I didn't say he could win or lose. I said he would be a problem to Shakur for sure.
After the way Shakur beat Willie Zepeda?
Man.
William Zepeda. We're talking about William Zepeda. Come on.
You don't think William is good?
Gary Russell, did you see his hand speed in his last fight?
Man, you know ain't a bigger fan of Gary Russell than me, man.
You talking about Williams Zepeda. Williams Zepeda is Williams Zepeda. Gary Russell is Gary Russell. It's two different type of fighters. You got a boxer and you got a come forward fighter. Those two different type of fighters. You can't judge what Shakur did versus Williams Zepeda and say he can do the same thing against Gary Russell when Gary Russell don't fight that style of fighting.
Right. It's gonna look totally different. He was pulling up on Tank. He was pulling up on everybody.
What would you say, Brother Bernard?
I think Gary Russell Jr. is a hell of a fighter, but I think people get caught up in his talent instead of getting caught up in his work ethic. The man's work ethic can make it where he can still be viable as time goes on, as opposed to a person who gets out of shape when they don't have a fight, get in shape when they got a fight, get out of shape. The man stays in shape. Even now, he stays in shape.
Year round.
To say that people who, if I put talent to talent, just talent to talent, no age, no nothing, just say talent versus talent, and you named everybody at the 135 division. Take everything other than the talent versus talent. You go down the list and tell me who he can't beat.
I think all of them 35 fights are 50-50, coach.
So if you go talent for talent and you say he stays in better, okay, I'll do this. Second question. Go condition for condition. Which one of those guys stay in better shape than he does year round?
Again, nobody.
So how can you say that he would have trouble beating everybody in the division?
That's what I'm saying.
I thought fighters get old overnight.
Man, that man, he stays in shape year round.
Those are fighters that destroy their body. You got to think, B-Hop was 50, still beating ass.
He was.
Yeah, B-Hop was 50 because B-Hop lived a boxer's life. Eat, train, sleep, repeat. Eat, train, sleep, repeat. Eat, train, marry, raise kids, repeat. Eat, train, marry, raise kids, repeat. The rest of these fighters, they don't live like that. They live like pro athletes who are part of a team. I can have an off night. But when you find guys who live a sullen lifestyle, who live the life of a monk, it's hard to beat them. And they can go into their 40s now. I mean, I think boxing has become microwave. And the reason I say microwave is because you got to go to the 80s. Your average champion didn't get a title shot till he was 30.
Yeah, I think Gary Russell, just because he was out of boxing for all them years, I promise you, he stayed in shape all those years he was out of the ring.
But he stayed in shape. We got to remember, he was training his brother.
He looked at it in shape in the corner. I was like, damn, Gary look all right. And then, you know what I mean? And then his fight that he had, man, his hand speed was amazing. His timing, everything. He carried the fight, and then he did what he did.
Let me ask you this, Boxer Source.
We got an echo.
Ask you this. Now, people don't give him his credit. I always mess with Brother Bernard about this, but when you talk about Gary Russell Sr., how much of a savant was this man when it came to boxing? I know you got a chance to know him. What would you say?
I mean, he had, a lot to say, man. It's just that, we had that mellow tone, when doing it. So it was like, as they say, a sage in the boxing game. So, every time I had talked with him, it kind of like was something where you would learn something. So that's kind of like, how I approached it when I speak with, Gary Sr. So, that's how it was, when he was, around.
Yeah. And go ahead. Go ahead, Brother Bernard. Go ahead, Brother Bernard.
I just say he was too honest for boxing.
Okay.
I said he was too honest for boxing. Boxers want to have their ego stroked. The sport of boxing wants you to bow down to the person who's supposedly delivering you your opportunities. And he refused to do either of the two. He would tell a fighter if you weren't that good and why you weren't that good, even if you were a champion. And he would tell the people in boxing, hey, the fighters actually make the fights. You just bring them to the public. So I think he was just too honest for the sport to be considered one of the best. But when you think about him, Gary, Tonio, Antoine, Allen, all won the Golden Gloves. His oldest son, Gary Jones, he was a world-rated fighter. Davon, who his other son who passed away, he was an elite fighter. He just had his demise before he was able to get to the pro side. And all of his boys, if you look at them collectively, they have about, I'm not looking at it offhand, so I'm going to say roughly somewhere between 80 and 90 pro wins. And if I'm off, I don't mind because I'm not looking at it. And they have combined less than 5 losses. And when you look at other fighters, other family-based fighters, the promoters gave them more opportunities than they gave to the Russells as a family. So if they got the same amount of opportunities, then I think they would have been looked at totally different. I think if he was less truthful with fighters, you may have had more fighters come and train with him that were high quality names. If he didn't work as hard and preach that you had to work hard, you may have had more guys come. Frankly, the average guy wouldn't want to come, not because they didn't know him or they didn't talk to him on the phone, but because the requirement of a work ethic we drove most people away with work ethic. If you were not willing to work hard, you didn't get rid of you left.
Coach you hear them stories all the time about it. Go ahead, D. Free, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I would say Bernard is absolutely right. See, a lot of people when they think of the Russells, they just think about Antoine, Antonio, and Mr. Gary. A lot of people don't know about Gary Jones. A lot of people don't pay attention to Gary Allen because they just see him standing in a corner. They don't know that he actually fought as well. So, I mean, and then they got the younger brother that unfortunately lost his life at an early age. He was an upcoming fighter as well. So the entire family was nothing but fighters. You had, like he said, you had roughly only 5 losses between the four sons that actually fought professionally. You only had 5 losses out of all of the wins that they got. That's you got guys that fought their entire career. Manny Pacquiao got more losses than all of them combined, and he doesn't even have nowhere near the amount of wins that those guys got. So I mean, for a father and sons as a family unit, Gary Sr., one of the best trainers in the sport of boxing that was in the sport of boxing when he was alive doing it. He was one of the best trainers.
Yeah.
He wasn't put on that platform because for whatever reason Floyd didn't like Mr. Gary Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always heard that he was tough, Boxing Sports. I don't know if that's true, but I heard that he was really tough because I think it was, I'm gonna say it was Lamont. I could be wrong, but they were saying a fighter asked him a question, and instead of saying it in a nice way, Gary Sr. said it in a real messed up way to him. So I don't know if that was truthful when people saying that, but it definitely is known that he kind of didn't hold his tongue, which sometimes you got to do, man. And I guess he didn't do that. He would tell guys they didn't have it. He would tell guys they didn't have it. and I don't know if you can do that in this game.
You can tell anybody you want what your opinion is. That's the part. That's what you asked to start this was that I thought was interesting. Do I think that podcasters like Michelle Joy Phelps, Ron from Fight Hype, different those guys, or Dante Boxing Nation can get into the Hall of Fame? And the reason I say they can, because they're unapologetically steadfast in their opinion. The reason why they may be the only ones that can make it, because you got, and I hate to be this honest, like I hate to use your words especially. You got a lot of pickle pulling podcasts that say whatever feels good at the second, and they say whatever feels good to the person who's standing in front of them. But when they face to face with the person that they badmouth, they take a different position. The one thing I can say, if Dante felt a way about you, and that was his opinion, he didn't change it when he see you. And if you ask him about it, he'll tell you. Michelle Joy Phelps, same way. Fight Hype, same way. Those are the reasons they can get in. When you see these podcasters doing what I call Jerry Springer podcasting, Jerry Springer ain't gonna win no Milton R. Murrow Award for journalism, but he gets a lot of views and he made a lot of money. And let me tell you the difference is you got to come to the understanding of yourself that you're comfortable with your choice. I like Geraldo, and Geraldo very happy with the choice he made for his career. I like Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer is very happy with the choice he made in his career. But then you get a podcaster who might have made some money, but at the end of the day, he's looked at as a vagina. He's looked at as a vagina. So he's upset because he doesn't get the credit. But once again, you chose your path. You chose your path. I think I talked to BVO, I talked to Boxing Source, I talked to quite a few guys on a personal level that do this podcasting. And I tell all of them, if you want to feel good next year, don't give up your integrity this year. And the ones that hold their integrity at some sort of value, they might not have 1 million followers, but they ain't buying no views. I'd rather somebody have 100,000 followers and have 60,000 views on the average video than somebody buy 2 million followers and they get 100 views per video. The math just ain't math. And if 2 million people followed you, there is no way that you're not going to get 100,000 looks, likes, or views on damn near everything you post. And if you don't believe me, look at Floyd. Floyd can post a blank screen, and I'll bet you whatever you want to bet, that blank screen is going to get at least 25,000 likes
and have hella comments.
So that's the barometer at which you have to understand. Gary Russell Jr., if he never fights again, was very successful. And the reason why, because he wasn't born a millionaire. And at the end of his career, if we've seen him for the last time, he was a millionaire. You got a lot of guys who are in the Hall of Fame that would give away their Hall of Fame status in exchange for getting out of poverty. So were they successful or were they failures? If you ask them, they're failures because they would trade their Hall of Fame status in to get out of poverty.
Yeah.
So you gotta remember in life, you gotta understand you can A, pick your battles and be successful to everybody else. or you can choose to battle what you're comfortable with and be happy being successful at your own level. If my son makes $20 million in boxing and he can take care of his family, put him in a situation that they never would have been in without that, but he never wins a title, never goes to the Hall of Fame, he was immensely successful. He was immensely successful because the only people who talk about your lack of accomplishments are people who never accomplished anything. Those are the only people who spend their day grading other people when they have nothing to be graded. That's it. You can't find one. I respect teachers, but my son had got into it with the teacher about something that he was right about. Because he didn't initially go to college. He went to a broadcasting school because he loves engineering and he loves doing stuff with music. When he went there, they told him, "We're going to show you how the world does this." And he learned it how the world does because the world moves at the speed of light. When he decided to go, hey, I just want the college experience, and he went to, get the college experience. As a freshman, he came into the same recording, broadcast, all that stuff program. And they were telling him, first we learn how to turn the power button on. Then we learn how to plug these in. Then when you do this, and my son stopped him and said, that's not the way they do it in the real world. And the man was like, what do you mean in the real world? I'm teaching you. He said, yeah, they did it 25 years ago. And you're like, well, genius, come show me. So my son showed him what they do in the real world because he learned it from the broadcasting program. And it cut time down. And the man was very upset with it. And when he was upset, I told my son, I said, son, let me ask you a question. Can you have a conversation with him? He said, yeah, he want to put me on the spot. I said, other than doing what he does in class every day, ask him how long he's been a tenured professor. Okay. He going to say at least 20 years. Okay. So when was the last time you went back to school for a brush up? Never. Okay, so you're teaching me something that's 20 years old. Yes. Now tell me, if you went in the job market with your skills and you tried to get a job today, what would they call you? A failure. Because your skills are outdated for what goes on today. So when you see these professors want to tell these kids and critique them, remind the professor, do you know what most professors are? Not all, but most. They are failed professionals. That means the course in which they teach, they actually were a failure at it in society. So they said, when all else fails, become a teacher. And that is what I feel about the average podcast and what they do. It's a bunch of guys who took their opportunity at everything in life. They might not have been the athlete that they wanted to be. They might not have been the fly guy that they wanted to be. So what did they do? The one thing that they can't fail at, grade everybody else. Because everything they did, they failed at. And before you start grading, that's what I always say. Before you start grading or letting somebody grade you, ask them what was the most successful thing that they're known for. If they can tell you something that they're successfully known for, I don't care what it is, then you can grade me because you know what it's like to feel successful. But if you can't do that, then how in the hell you gonna grade me or anybody else?
They ain't ready for that.
Wow. What you think about that, boss? So Brother Bernard know how to shut the show down with that, man.
Yeah, but Brother Bernard coming.
As the saying goes, those who can't teach. But he's right on point. If you have someone that's been in the teaching profession for so long, how are they going to teach you about something that's happening right now? Things change, methods change. You have to adapt. So if you're telling someone that of something or how to do something that doesn't work now, what's the point? It's useless.
It's funny you say that because I hear so many people. They got something called Ohio Media School, in my city, and people be like, "Oh, you didn't? How come you didn't come to us?" And I said, "Because not one person that ever did anything came from here. I mean, even I don't know if you guys know Stefan, the guy he did a lot of voiceover work. Stefan blew up from just doing his voiceover work, and then he did a YouTube. Sometimes you guys are right. Them teachers don't know what they're talking about. They just don't.
Yeah.
But
like I said, I'm more of a trade type of dude. But real quick, BVO, and I know you be having the back, the back stories and the scoop, inside scoop. Is this true? Top Rank is reportedly set to join the zone after his deal with ESPN concludes on July 26th. This move potentially changes the boxing landscape and facilitate more cross-promotion events. You know how true that is?
Box Source, I heard that to be true a couple months ago, but I haven't heard anything confirmed. What about
Boxing Source, how about you or Brother B?
I've heard nothing, any update for their network deal.
Well, if that's true, then you heard it first right here on BVO Boxing.
Yeah,
what I've heard is that they have events planned, but as far as like a network, no.
It said their deal with Top Rank ends at, ESPN.
It already ended. So the thing was,
true.
People had already heard about, that news or whatever it is. But outside of that, not really much. And I mean, I could contact people to see if they got any updates, but nothing else of yet.
I've seen that coming a mile away, if anything.
And when people, I'm being honest with you, this is one thing I'm learning, and I'm sure Boxing Source can attest this. When people spending that kind of money, they keep a lot of that stuff tight to the chest, man. A lot of times, man, you might get a leak if somebody say it around the wrong person, but when you spending that type of money, them dudes not looking to let that leak. Just to be totally honest, they're not looking to let nothing leak. They're not trying to, if they can help it. But I don't know.
We live in a leak era. We live in a leak era. Well, it used to be a leak, but now it's intentional. You got the music companies leaking a guy's single. They've been sued for that by the artist. Like you leaked it, the actual company leaked it because they wanted to devalue him. If you think that BVO, me and you had to talk on live. I said I don't know nothing, and I didn't know nothing. I just said what I thought their strategy was going to be. It was right when dealing with Xander. And that was because I saw that post that one of the boxing writers had put up. But if I see that one particular boxing writer puts up a bunch of posts and see what you get tricked with is y'all look for the major guy to release information. They don't need the major guy to release it. They need the most obscure person to release it and see if it catch air. These companies ain't stupid. A lot of the same people that run these companies are friends and golfing buddies with people in the television and music industry. They tell them how to do it. When did you start first hearing boxers sign 360 deals? About 7 years ago, when the rappers started getting involved, the ones that own rap labels started getting involved with managing boxers. They was giving them the same contract that they give a artist that does music, 360 deal. You can't put a patch on your clothes. You can't do this. We in a different place.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. I'll say this, man. Boxing has changed a lot since I've been covering it. I'll tell you that right now. It's changed a lot, and I don't even know if it's all for the better, because I think what my man Brother Bernard spoke to, and I'm sure Boxing Source agree with me. There's a lot of Jerry Springer stuff that goes on that makes no sense, man.
Wrestling.
I mean, I hear so much race baiting in boxing. It's like I hear people tell me Jim Lampley's racist. Jim Lampley? Does he say some stuff I think is a little off the wall, but I wouldn't say he racist. Come on, man.
I
You know
don't
what I
know him to
mean,
talk.
Boxer
I don't
Source?
know him, but he's been biased before. But I don't know him to say he's racist. I
Who
don't know
isn't
him.
biased? Who isn't biased as a commentator? You think Brian Custer ain't biased? I mean,
They all do it, but Jim sometimes with him and Larry would be go overboard. But I don't know them personally to call them racist. That's a strong statement. Unless somebody's like openly blatant, that's different. You know what I mean?
Why is it racist? Because my opinion differs from yours. If that was the case, up until about a month or so ago, BVO was racist towards me. No, I'm not. No, not saying that in a funny way. I was dead serious. BVO rated my son based on his color, not his style. So is that racist?
I would say that's crazy.
No. If you rate me on my color, rate my boxing on my color as opposed to my style, is that racist?
I would say so.
Yes, because you're rating me strictly on the color of my skin. You're not rating me on my ability. You're not rating me on my talent or my style. You're rating me strictly on the color of my skin. But then when he asked me, why is it that you do this and you do this? I said, my son has never wanted to be considered a slick black fighter. His biggest style asset is from Julio Cesar Chavez and Marvin Hagler. BVO said, I went back and looked. After looking at it, I have to rate Jaleel differently because now I'm rating him on his style. And after that, his opinion changed. So once again, that was racist because you rated me just on the color of my skin.
That sounds like something BVO would do, but
But once again, me and him had the conversation. But there's been a couple of people on your panel that I asked the same question to, maybe not in that way, but their answer was the same thing. And when I said, well, if he was Mexican and his hair was straight and curly, or he had to blow out like Xander, and his skin was lighter, then tell me, what would you think then? Oh, damn, I would look at him differently. So they were doing the same thing. They were doing the exact same thing.
That's a fact.
So I'd rather people not be so loose and throwing around the word you're racist or you being racist towards me is a scapegoat word that they use now for everything. If I don't agree, if I don't like your fighter, you don't like him because you white, me black. If I don't like you, don't like. No, how about I just don't like him for my own reason? It doesn't have to be a logical reason.
Yeah.
It just has to be I don't like.
I just don't like you, bro.
More. Right. I would respect somebody more if they say, man, I don't like you. I don't like him as a fighter or anything. And
that's how I feel about Ryan Garcia. I just don't like him. Even before he did what he did with Dev, I just didn't like that nigga, bro. And I used to get up there and say, I just don't. BVO be like, why you hating, Price? I'd be like, I just don't like him.
You're not hating because you don't like somebody. You just genuinely, that's my feeling.
Like that nigga, man.
Don't like you. And I just said BVO something the other day. I said, next time one of your fans or one of your callers say Jaleel Hackett don't deserve the fight with Xander, I want you to personally send this to him. Ryan Garcia to get a fight with Mario Barrios. Is this the same Ryan Garcia that 3 fights ago looked lackluster? Then 3 fights ago he was caught cheating. Then he looked lackluster, and then he lost to Rolly Romero. But he deserves to move up and fight.
Get him out of here.
But once again, I'm not getting anybody in or out. I'm talking to the actual pickle pullers, as y'all call them.
Yeah.
If you telling me that Jaleel doesn't deserve a fight with Xander, then tell me why Rolly deserves a fight with Mario Barrios.
Talk to him now.
And once again, I hope all the fighters get the fights they want. I'm saying this to the people that tell me he doesn't deserve, he hasn't earned the fight.
He's ranked this and all of that. Yeah, that's a good one.
I want them to tell me the difference when we had a Ryan Garcia who cheated. No matter what anybody thinks, them just whatever they think, he cheated against Devin Haney. And y'all know I know Devin Haney fan. He cheated against Devin Haney. He looked super lackluster in the fight that he won when they did that stuff when they drove down the middle of the street. And then he lost to Rolly Romero. Outright lost, got outclassed, outboxed by a smaller guy. Now he says I can move up. And what I want people to do is tell me why they don't understand the manipulation of the rankings, because we got a man coming off a cheating scandal, a lackluster performance, and a loss.
And an 11-1 shutout.
Yeah, and he should be ranked in the top 10 in whatever weight class because he moved up.
Man, pack him up, man. He don't deserve no WBC fight.
But don't see, you keep giving him the easy route off, saying pack him up. Apples to apples is we never had a
pack the WBC up with him then.
We never had a more clear-cut example. Apples to apples. Look at Jalil's last 3 fights. 8 wins. He wins the WBA Continental title. Then he loses the WBA Continental title. Controversial loss, but he lost it. Then he comes back and gets a knockout.
But you're a pretty damn good kid.
But you're saying he don't deserve a title fight against Xander compared to a guy who comes off of a cheating scandal, a lackluster performance, and an outright loss.
And a beatdown.
Yeah.
Got dropped and smoked by Rolly easily.
Yeah. So when they say
easy
that,
fight to score.
Thank you. I think Rolly lost 1 round.
I had Rolly winning 11-1.
I had the same thing.
So
in a fight,
that's counting a knockdown.
But let me give you one more good piece.
Hey,
in a fight where he was the extreme favorite, he lost
easily. And look, and if you notice, and I'm not trying to be funny, I know BVO hit me with the no diddy, but his frame looked trashed without all that juice. His body was trash. He was trashed that night against Rolly.
1 win, 1 no contest, 2 losses in his past 4 fights, and yet he could be in a position to fight for
BC. That's pack WBC up.
Hey, coach, what did Jalil do in his last 4 fights?
You said had that close. As I said, he didn't lose that fight, but he had that, and then turn around and get the knockout win.
Yeah. I feel like they should. My fault, Free.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, Coach. My bad, Coach B. You said WBC.
Look, this Jalil's last 4 fights: WBCU title, WBA Continental title, loss in a knockout. So if I put both of those, if I put situation number 1, WBA, WBC, WBA minor titles, loss, then a knockout, and then I put 1 cheat, 1 subpar. No, my bad. 4 fights. 1 loss, 1 cheat, 1 subpar, and another loss. Please tell me which one of those guys you're going to give a title shot to based on their last 4 fights. Which one of those, no pictures, just that. WBC, WBA minor titles, loss, knockout win versus loss, DQ for cheating, lackluster, loss. Which guy you giving the title shot to?
That's a good point.
Because if you pick the first guy, that's Jalil.
I don't want to hear about no more rankings ever again. Don't talk to me about that. If it makes sense, forget about all that because they'll manipulate that anyway. Because if Xander say, you know what, I'm gonna fight Jaleel in Puerto Rico, I guaranteed you. Because people like say, well, Jaleel's ranked this and that, but I guaranteed you, if Xander say, you know what, I'm picking Jaleel, I guaranteed you, Jaleel will pop up in the top 10 somewhere.
He might. He definitely.
I said they manipulate. They do stuff, and you know it. Especially the WBC and WBA.
We see. Well, I ain't gonna down the WBC because the great Don King.
I ain't downing them, bro.
They support them, and we support.
They
them.
made duck belts,
and I think the WBC is the greatest boxing organization because, like Don King
just like the way the belt look.
No, working together works. And I think they're the quintessential belt that works together with their fighters, man. So shout out to Mauricio, man. They do a great job. Because my favorite belt is the IBF belt. You know, Inconvenience Black Fighters belt. Because not many black fighters can hold on to that belt because that rehydration clause. But I'll say this, man. Shout out to everybody coming through. Hopefully Shador Sanders will start for my Browns so we can start winning some games.
Cowboys is trash, by the way.
Shout out to my boy Boxing Source, man. Shout out to brother Bernard. Hey, it's a DC thing, man. We brought some DC brothers in and we having some fun, man. So only thing they forgot to do was send me some of that Capital City mumbo sauce. But you know how
they actually got smoked by Arizona.
Arizona's good.
But
yeah,
on
but Dallas is
turnovers. And the defense is still trash, so there you go.
They trash.
Well, you served Jerry. He got to make $100 million. He ain't got time to work on that team right now.
And you know, and I know y'all heard that we shopping for your boy out here in Philadelphia. We're gonna bring Miles home where he belongs. So,
well, that's not gonna happen.
Y'all can have the 3 first-round picks and
No, he signed a contract. The boy wanted the money.
So we can pick the money up.
He got to shut up and he got to shut up and just play because he knew nothing changed. Nothing changed. He knew he wasn't going to be good. I don't want to hear nothing now. It's from Cleveland to Canton. Nothing stops. On that note, like I just said, it's from Cleveland to Canton. And keep this in mind with Prize, man.
Well, our riders don't know shit about boxing. So
that was a pure cappery. Is that a word? Cappery.
Here we go, y'all. Peace.
What's up, guys? Chris Algieri here. Big shout out to BVO Sports TV.
Shout out to BVO Boxing. You understand? Check the boy out. Check the kid out. You understand?